prepared to carry their lunch pails into battle for the final time this season, with each side looking to stamp their mark on history. From Chapel Hill, North Carolina, it's the 3A championship game between the Rocky Mount Gryphons and the South Point Red Raiders. And welcome inside Kenan Stadium. I'm Chris Edwards alongside Jay Sonnhalter. Delighted to have you with us. Jay, we'll start with Rocky Mount. The Gryphons 13-2 this season, immersed in the best season in program history, thanks in large part to a consistent ground attack.
Yeah, Chris, they've really come on strong after a couple early season defeats. They're running the ball extremely well. A lot of different weapons they have on offense, but also on defense. A strong, sturdy defense. They run a 4-3 scheme, bring a lot of different blitzes along the edge.
Well, for South Point, the Red Raiders have done all of their damage on the ground this season, averaging 251 rushing yards per game while giving up just 14 points per game allowed on defense.
Yeah, and Coach Lineberger running the triple option. He's got a lot of confidence in his backfield. He's got a senior quarterback that's extremely talented, but his defense, they run a 4-2 scheme with a lot of different secondary blitzes they like to bring about.
A lot of great players on the field tonight as we dive into our stars to watch, and we'll start with Rocky Mount. It begins with their outstanding running back, B.J. Sanders, near 1,200 rushing yards this season and 14 touchdowns.
Yeah, over 100 yards per game, all-purpose, 8 yards per carry on the ground. The coaches really depend on him, and he's a leader for their team.
Well, for South Point, it's Ryan Etherton, one of the big backs in this triple option, over 2,000 rushing yards and up to number 7 in the all-time rushing annuals.
Well, for him, what a leader he is. His heart's as big as the stadium is what Coach Lineberger described about him. A talented player that they really depend on to get those tough yards, but also has the speed to get outside.
Well, playtime is over for these two teams. It's time to go to work, and we'll have kickoff next on Time Warner Cable Sportschannel. Tonight at Kenan Stadium inside the North Carolina campus as South Point the first to take the field. Jay Sonnhalter. There's Rocky Mount busting through the banner. They started in late July, and now they're here playing for a state title.
And what a venue here at UNC, and both these teams had excellent years, and it's all a culmination of their effort here tonight in Chapel Hill, Chris.
Coin toss. Looks like South Point has won the toss, and so we'll see what the Red Raiders elect to do. They're going to defer, so they'll give Rocky Mount the football first tonight. We'll see the Rocky Mount offense on the field trying to get in gear first.
Yeah, and Chris, they run the wing tee, and both teams are predominant run teams, so you're going to see a physical ball game tonight where it's really a battle in the trenches as who's going to determine the victor to here.
All right, so before the game, we had a chance to chat with both head coaches. Here are their thoughts on tonight's 3A state championship game.
You know, the atmosphere and things like that, I don't think it's going to change what we do. I think they're just going to enjoy it and embrace the moment. As I say, you know, down in Rocky Mount, things are a little bit different sometimes. So, you know, to be out and be able to play in front of, at the, you know, Kenan Stadium, I mean, we couldn't ask for much more to end the season.
We've really grown together as a team, and we're really getting better every week and improving, and they're playing for their brother right now, and it's been really this is my 39th year of coaching. This is the most improved team I've ever been around, and so it's just really rewarding to see how they step up from week to week and how much better we get.
There's Mickey Lineberger, his 5th season as the head coach at South Point, 58-10, and his career record was an assistant coach in the 2010 Shrine Bowl team. Longtime baseball coach at South Point, and he's got the Red Raiders fired up tonight.
Yeah, and Chris, he talked about Monday in that press conference how proud he is of his team, and they're a hard-working bunch, and how they've really come along and progressed nicely this year and really improved as a team.
They're getting closer to their goal. That's a great look at Coach Battle, Jason Battle, in his 4th season at Rocky Mount. 5-3 in his career playoff record, 37-14 overall. The 4th-year head coach of the Gryphons.
Yeah, and he really prides his team on their physical style of play, and also, too, a couple early losses this year, and they've been able to come back and rebound and have an excellent year.
All right, Jay, let's take a look at some of your keys to the game tonight for both of these teams and what they need to do to be successful and win state championships. We'll start with Rocky Mount, win on special teams.
Well, Coach Battle talked about winning on special teams, winning that third part of the game, that hidden phase, and getting off the field on 3rd down. The South Point team's so good on 3rd down, they need to get off the field. For South Point, protecting the football, the triple option offense that they run, they need to make sure they hold on to the ball and play discipline, and averaging 4 yards yards per carry. If they can do that, that's going to set them up for a play-action pass down the field.
All right, should be a lot of fun tonight as the 3A championship game ready to get underway. It's B.J. Sanders, the deep man for Rocky Mount, and off we go from Kenan Stadium. It's Sanders who will field from inside the 20 and then fake the handoff. He'll keep it himself around the edge. Big return for B.J. Sanders. One man to beat, makes a move, and what a start for the Gryphons. Touchdown, Rocky Mount.
What our star to watch start on that kickoff return with the trickery here, bringing out all the stops here on the return on the first play of the ball game with the fake reverse. Coach Battle pulling out his bag of trips, and then great blocking downfield, and then just the athleticism getting into the end zone. And for Sanders, our star to begin the game, he's stepping up already and getting on the board first for the Gryphons.
His nickname is Hollywood, and he was certainly showcasing those Hollywood-like talents on that play. Chase Miller on for the extra point, 91% in point afters this year, and drills that one to give Rocky Mount a 7-point lead.
Well, and Chris, it was really set up well for us. Coach Battle said win the special teams battle, and they won it on the first play of the game. This fake reverse right here, it kind of puts a pause on the defenders. The coverage team doesn't know where the ball is, so they had to hold up for a second. That was just enough of a lane created. And then Sanders did the rest right down the left side of the sideline. Good seal blocks on the edge to get in the end zone.
81-yard return for Sanders to give Rocky Mount the lead as we head down to the field and say hi to the third member of our team, Erin Summers. Hi, Erin.
Hi, Chris. What a start to the game already. You know, Rocky Mount hasn't been in a state title game since 1977, and you have to go back to the 60s for their last state title win. Well, Coach Battle said that he felt that this team was special, and that he knew that if the team came together, then they would be able to do just this here tonight. As for South Point, they're 3-0 in state title games. In fact, they won their last two right here in Kenan Stadium. Head coach Mickey Lineberger said every day it was about getting 200 feet better and 200 feet closer to Chapel Hill. Well, it's December, and they looked up, and here they are. Chris?
Erin, thanks a lot. Look forward to your report tonight. And if the Red Raiders are going to win that state championship, they'll have to come from behind tonight. It's Ty Tinker, the deep man here for the Red Raiders, as Chase Miller not quite ready to boot it away. We had an equipment malfunction, it would appear, with Miller. He's heading off to the sideline, and they're going to run somebody else out on the field. Nerves for everybody here.
Yeah, I mean, the start of the ball game and a venue like this with Kenan Stadium, everyone has a little bit of butterflies to start the ball game off, but for Rocky Mount, they feel a little bit better after getting a touchdown in the first play.
It looks like Sherrod Green is going to kick it away. Green, the all-world linebacker, getting some scholarship offers. We'll touch on his story when the Gryphons go on defense. Certainly hope that nothing is wrong with Miller. That could be a big blow for Rocky Mount going forward.
Yeah, something to watch throughout this ball game. And some nicks and bruises for both teams, but both coaches are pretty pleased with their health heading into this ball game.
Green puts it in play. Knuckleballing kick fielded by one of the up men. And up the sideline, another big return as Nolan Wilson takes it out across the 40-yard line, and South Point has good field position.
Well, for returnment, that's the toughest one, that knuckleball right there where it curves in the air and it's a line drive, but Wilson doing a nice job focusing on the ball, then following his blockers up the sideline.
So South Point offense, as we talked about earlier, predicated on running the football. They averaged 251 yards on the ground per contest and just 35 yards per game through the air. They've only thrown for 528 yards all season. DeAndre King, the 5'10 senior, is the quarterback, and they'll start in that triple option. They send a man in motion, and Wilson gets it on the pitch, trying the right side, and he fights out to the 49-yard line, gets about 7 or 8 yards before Alex Henderson up to make the stop, his 119th stop of the season, gain of 8 yards there on first down.
Well, and Chris, for both teams, their defense is really going to have to stay disciplined, know their assignments, and kind of keep their fundamentals intact, because they've got to be lined up correctly just to start the play, then stay true to their assignment and then make the tackle. But for the option, the triple option that South Point presents, there's a lot of different formation and movement that creates problems for defense.
Very similar to the offense Georgia Tech will run, as the ball on the ground this time, but it looks like King scooped it up
He'll lose a yard, maybe 2, and bring up 3rd down. So not the start that the Red Raiders were hoping for here on their opening drive.
Yeah, and for them, they've got it here in a 3rd and manageable situation. They don't throw the ball a lot, so it's important for them to get that 4 yards per carry. But the one problem with the triple option is the ball handling. If you're not sound in your fundamentals, it can create problems with the ball being on the ground.
King can also rush over 2,700 career rushing yards. He's rushed for over 1,600 this season. They go to the quarterback. King will keep it, bouncing it to the outside, and tiptoes out at the 34. A big run on 3rd down and 4 gives the Red Raiders a 1st down.
Well, for Rocky Mount, they just got blown off the ball. In South Point, you see King's athletic ability, but here, look at all the fakes there. Then a missed assignment, a missed tackle, and boom, it's off. King picking up an easy 1st down. That's all it takes, Chris, is 1 missed assignment, 1 missed tackle with this triple option, and you got a clear lane to run.
Gained 18 yards there on 3rd down and 4, and now they're set up on the doorstep of the blue zone. King ran for 33 yards in the regional final a week ago as the first carry of the night for Ryland Etherton, the 6-foot senior. Bounces that inside, gets a couple of yards as we take a look at the offensive starters for South Point this evening, Jay. And with a team that likes to run the football, it all starts up front with that offensive line.
Yeah, and Coach Lineberger really talked about his O-line being tough and gritty, very athletic as well. And with his skill guys, boy, when we talked about Etherton, he put a smile on his face because of type of talent he is, but how hard he works, what a leader he is for this program.
You saw Larry Dowdy, the right tackle, a true freshman, just the 2nd freshman in 39 years to start as a freshman at South Point. 2nd down for the Red Raiders, 2nd down and 7 as they send Wilson in motion. It's King who will keep it. Shedding tackles and down to the 19-yard line. It's another 1st down for South Point. Pickup of 12 that time, partner.
Well, for South Point, they're putting a lot of window dressing on their plays, and what I mean by that is a lot of different guys going in motion, different lineups, but still it's the same plays. It's the option, it's the fullback dive there. So Rocky Mount can't pause. They can't play on their heels. They need to attack and get in the backfield, and right now, South Point's winning the battle on the offensive line.
A lot of confusion for Rocky Mount's defense. Play clock down to 10 as the fullback, Etherton, straight up the middle and inside the 15 to the 13. Etherton, we told you in the open, 7th on the all-time career rushing yards. An all-conference selection a season ago, playing in over now 30 career games.
Yeah, for him, he's really tough on the interior when he runs the ball, and see him there. 3 guys having to drag him down, and he picks up those tough yards. And you look at the formation now, it's 2nd and medium here. South Point's really doing a good job of putting themselves in manageable situations on 2nd and 3rd down.
Thought about wanting to get 4 yards a clip. They did there. It's King who will keep it, stumbling to the outside. King has it, 1st and goal for the Red Raiders. I think it's a pretty safe bet now that King's calling his own number. Certainly adds another dynamic to that offense.
Yeah, and the thing is with the triple option, when you play again, once you get rolling, once you get into rhythm, it makes the defense play on their heels, and you gain confidence as an offense. And King, he's just having his way. Rocky Mount's not been able to find a solution at all, and they're not attacking, Chris. They're just sitting back and letting South Point dictate to them the tempo they want to play with.
Already 4 carries for King, 18, 12, and 11 in his last 3 carries. Etherton up the middle, and he is in. Touchdown, Red Raiders. It's the 35th rushing score of the season for Ryan Etherton.
For Etherton, it was just a fullback dive right up the middle. So tough for Rocky Mount to defend. They're used to seeing these outside running plays with King, and then boom, it's a quick hit right up the middle. Look at that offensive line staying low, cut blocking up front, creating the lane there. Then Etherton going in and providing a spark for his offense.
Thomas Lepperer with 60-point afters on the season. Ties the score at 7 with 8:35 left in the opening quarter. Different ways to get on the scoreboard. One was a grind it out, just wear it down the defense. The other, a pretty quick score from Rocky Mount. But South Point has to feel good about the way their offense has started.
What a way to respond, driving down the field, meticulously running the ball, coming back from that kickoff return. Because when you're in a state championship venue like that, and you kind of get punched first, Rocky Mount with the big play on special teams, sometimes you kind of lose your focus or maybe get a little bit nervous, but no, South Point had none of that. They came right back and made a punch of their own, and 7-7 ball game. What a start here for the 3A championship.
South Point matriculating the ball down the field that time, which is what they want to do all evening long. So after we've seen the South Point offense, it will be interesting once Rocky Mount's offense gets on the field to see how they respond and how their offense matches up against a aggressive but very good South Point defense.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of the similar plays and a similar running action out of Rocky Mount. Now, they run the wing T offense, which is a little bit different than the triple option. They don't run quite as much option with their quarterback, Forrest Bell, but they still have that wing T formation with a couple guys lined up on the wings of the offense, and they like to create a lot of formations, too, to present problems for South Point.
Lemper with another kick, and another chance, perhaps, for Sanders, who plays it on the hop from the 2. See if he can make another spectacular return. Not this time. Good grief. Like it was Tyler Hall, it was, who came down there and lowered the boom on Sanders.
Well, I think South Point realized how fast Sanders was on the first return there. They're saying, no, we're not going to let you go. They swarmed down there in a pack, and Hall making the big hit.
The 6'1 senior, sure it probably feels good maybe to knock out some of the nerves, right, Jay, once you make that first hit in the championship game.
Hey, whenever you're playing in a big game, you need that first hit, whether that's you hitting somebody or somebody hitting you, just to get the butterflies out, get into the game. And both these teams now are kind of getting the swing of things as the offenses have been out for both teams now.
Forrest Bell, the starting quarterback, will work with Nick Bynum behind him. It's the first carry of the night for Bynum, who kicks it to the outside and looks for a block. Stiff arms a man out across the 20. It's a first down and more for the Gryphons. Another big play for Rocky Mount as Nick Byram, who scored the game-winning touchdown in the 3rd round, picks up a big carry here of 21 yards.
Well, Bynum's 205 pounds. He's a powerful kid and strong legs, and no other way to get your fan base and your team excited when you've got a running back that refuses to go down. And look at all the defenders for South Point bouncing off of him. 2 right there. Great blocking, another missed tackle, and he's just unbelievable with his ability to drive his feet and keep on going, and a huge gain there on first down.
Bynum with over 1,400 rushing yards this season, as kicking it to the outside, D'Angelo Collins, the 5'7 junior, gets the call this time and gets close to the first down marker. Jay, let's take a look at the offensive starting lineup for Rocky Mount. Another team that loves to run the football begins up front with a veteran offensive line.
Well, it all starts outside with the tackles. Johnson and Robinson, both over 300 pounds. The twin towers at the tackle position. And then for the skill guys, they're fast, but they're powerful too. Sanders, Forbes, and Edwards. Bynum, the fullback, and then Richardson, the tight end, playing both ways on offense and defense.
Second down and medium. Back to the ground again. And a big hit that time on Forrest Bell, the quarterback. Tyler Hall, who had the hit earlier, Jay, up to make the tackle. He has 113th tackle of the season. He had 8 tackles in the regional final a week ago, but that will move the chains for the Gryphons.
Well, the Gryphons trying to fake out South Point there. Only 30 carries on the year for Forrest Bell. He really leads this offense. He doesn't do too much damage on the ground. He can throw it well, over 60% accuracy throwing the ball there, but they snuck up on him, and Bell picked up the first down.
It is 29 yards rushing coming into the season. He'll pass for the first time tonight, flips one to the outside, and the pass is caught by J.C. Freeman, his 17th catch of the season. Over 300 yards receiving for the senior. Will bring up second down.
Well, nice focus by Freeman there. That's the toughest catch if you're a wide receiver, jumping up in the air, knowing you're going to be hit and you're vulnerable there, but still the focus to come down with it.
Picked up about 5 that time, 4 or 6 officially. It's 2nd and 4. I'm sure that Coach Battle will be pleased with 6 yards on first down. This time it's Sanders who gets the call and is swarmed under. Nice play with the defensive unit of South Point. You know, a week ago for the Red Raiders, they had 14 different players that made at least 1 tackle. That time Matthew Robinson, the sophomore, made the hit.
And for South Point, they run a 4-2 defense, which means they've got 4 D linemen, 2 linebackers. Then they've got 5 DBs that move around, and they can bring different blitzing schemes from the outside, but it helps them have those 5 DBs more speed on the field, Chris.
It's 3rd down and long for Rocky Mount. First 3rd down of the night for the Gryphons. And behind the chains, bootleg for Bell, looking to throw. Man in the flat. It's caught by Freeman again, who moves the chains as the Gryphons convert. Second catch on this drive by J.C. Freeman.
And a good play call there, rolling Bell out to the left, getting away from the pressure, and the offensive line following there and walling off the D-line. There was Freeman there just kind of running a sit route, 12 yards over the ball, then staying there, coming back to him, Bell throwing a strike. And both teams really impressive drives on their first possessions, Chris. 17
yards receiving already tonight for Freeman, as Bell 2 of 2. They go back to the ground. Bynum gets the carry, and the fullback is swarmed under for no gain. Might have lost half a yard that time. A very stingy South Point defense, Jay, that limits opponents to just 106 yards rushing per game on average.
Yeah, and Coach Lineberg has really been pleased with their efforts, and they've got a big task in front of them tonight with this ground attack that the Gryphons present. And again, we talked about discipline for both defenses, knowing what their assignment is and playing to their fundamentals is going to be key.
Bynum again on the sweep. Gets past one tackler and cannot get past the other as he's run out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. Third down again for Rocky Mountain. Decision time for Coach Battle and the Gryphon offense. Look at one of the co-defensive coordinators for South Point as there's Coach Battle on the sideline. Still runs the offense. Twice was the offensive coordinator for Rocky Mountain during his previous time as an assistant coach. A Rocky Mountain alum trying to bring the school their first state championship in nearly 50 years. On third down and medium. Stumbling down inside the 35-yard line, will be close, maybe a half yard short as Bynum got the carry again. Picked up 6 and needed about that number. We'll pin on the spot, and looks like the RJ going to be about a yard short.
Yeah, and here in this situation, you're kind of in no man's land, a little bit too far field for a field goal. So in these situations, it looks for both coaches to be aggressive and go for it.
South Point jumps, no flag. Play clock down to 10, so plenty of time for Bell as he checks off. Bynum, and should have the first down. And the officials coming in, they are going to look at, and yep, first down signaled by Roger Latney, our referee.
The official has signaled first down for the Gryphons at the 33.
First down from the 34. Sweep to the outside as Tyrell Forbes gets his first call of the night. And not much doing there for Forbes.
Yeah, Forbes coming on the jet sweep across the formation there. And with this wing T offense, you've got the quick hit with Bynum. You see Forbes coming across the line very quickly, slipping there. But it's important for the defense of South Point to really play with their eyes, see everybody that's coming in motion, but find the football and then go and attack. Again, you can't sit back on your heels with this type of offense, otherwise they'll eat you alive.
Stop for a loss of about half a yard on the play. Second down and long. Bell operating from the shotgun. And it's Bynum again who swarmed under, and not much going on here for Rocky Mount after they converted that 4th and 1. It was Nick Muse up to make the tackle, the team leader with 146 tackles on the season, Jay.
Well, he lives in the backfield. Muse coming on a blitz, coming right there and wrapping up Bynum. And it's tough when you've got a running back that runs as hard and as physical as Bynum does. You've got to make sure you stay low and you wrap up. Otherwise, he'll run right through that tackle.
Third down and long. Play action. Bubble screen. Caught. Making a move. And it's Freeman again for the first down. It's his third catch of the night. And Rocky Mountain having some success with Freeman in the passing game.
Well, Bell's feeling it 3 for 3 here on this drive. And that's going to present a lot of problems to South Point because they can get that running game going. It's going to open up this passing game as well. What a play call by Coach Battle with the screen pass there. South Point wasn't ready for that play call. Provided a first down for this offense for the Gryphons.
Again, a 15 there. They're set up inside the red zone now, trying to break this 7-all stalemate in what's been a quick first quarter. We'll go back to the ground as the call goes to Collins, and he gets maybe a yard before the defense wrangles him down. Leading the charge defensively was Max Mead, 85 tackles on the season.
And for the Red Raiders, they're doing a good job maybe on first down, on second down, but they'll give up the big play, and they just need to play a little bit more consistent.
2 for 3 on third down tonight is Rocky Mount. They've done a nice job converting, Jay, and keeping drives alive. Fresh set here as Collins, the motion man. Bynum gets the carry again and stopped after a gain of about 3. Will bring up second down.
You know, Chris, we talked about these offenses being predominantly running teams. It'll be interesting to see the depth of both teams and kind of who wears each other out, because we're not going to see a lot of passing plays. And when you're a defender, you're getting pushed on, blocked on every single play. It's who's conditioning, which team is better equipped to handle that pressure.
Injured player down on the field for Rocky Mount. Great look at the Gryphons sideline as Niles Pride, the 6'1 senior, the starting left guard, is down. Let's head down to the field and join the third member of our crew, Erin Summers.
You might not think it watching the way that the game is going right now, but not many at Rocky Mount thought the team would be here at this point. So they didn't budget for the travel and the pregame meal to make it here. So they started a GoFundMe site 2 days ago. One of the parents of one of the kids did, and they've already raised over $2,000. Their goal was $1,500 in order to get the team here and fed, which they did. The extra money they're planning on using on that post-game celebration.
Erin, thanks a lot, and wonder if we'll get invited to the post-game celebration.
A possible pizza party?
For their sake, I hope Jay doesn't get invited. You might eat all the pizza.
Hey, I like pepperoni. That's all I want. Pepperoni and a water. I'll be happy. And a napkin, too, as well.
Give me your thoughts on what we've seen here for the first 10 minutes or so of this game.
Well, I think both teams are playing extremely hard, and both offenses are having their way. They're moving the ball down the field, not with big plays, but just clip by clip.
Let's take a look at the injured player where Pride goes down from a moment ago. Number 60 on the left-hand part of your screen, and ooh. Yeah,
and that's the worst type of injury. I've had that happen to me before, when you're vulnerable there blocking and someone flies in your leg. You hope that everything's going to be okay and that Pride can come back in this game and the injury isn't too bad.
Third down and 8. Gryphons tonight. 2 for 3 on third down. They've been in this third and long all night long, it seems, on this drive. South Point may be showing a little bit of pressure. Play clock is at 2. They have to hurry to get the play off. And a timeout called by Rocky Mount. Smart play there by Coach Battle with the play clock, Jay, winding down. No way they were going to get that play off.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you got to know when to use your timeouts, what situations for Coach Battle. Perfect timing there. This is a big play on third down. Third and long situation. Usually we'd say this is a passing situation, but not with these teams. Rocky Mount can use the run or the pass to pick up this play.
Well, Rocky Mount came into play today averaging about 5 completions per game. They've already got, 3 completions tonight, so they're close to their average in the first quarter.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they throw the ball. I mean, they've been clicking, and South Point hasn't been ready for the passing game. And whenever you're facing a running offense like this, you really focus on the run. If you can mix in a play-action pass, if you're Rocky Mount, you're going to have some open areas to throw the ball through the play-action fake.
2 teams that have played difficult schedules, especially in the non-conference, with the losses for both teams, the 4 combined losses, coming to teams who played in a regional final or who are playing this weekend for state championship.
Well, yeah, and it's amazing because you look early in the year, the early losses, like, oh, doom and gloom, but no, they went on hot streaks, both teams, and they got better. Both coaches talked about how much they improved. The kids bought in. Then you look up and you're here in the state championship.
Third down and long. It's a quarterback draw as Bell will keep it, shedding tackles, and he's maybe a 1.5 yards, 2 yards short. Got down to the 10, needed the 8. And we're seeing Bell, Jay, have more success on the ground than he's had the last several weeks.
Yeah, and for him, the stats aren't gaudy on the ground. He's a great quarterback, great leader. He just hasn't had a lot of opportunities to run the ball. But here, you save your best for last in the biggest stage, and Bell doing a nice job on the ground with a couple carries already.
It's 4th down and 2. Gryphons are going to go for it instead of trying the field goal. Man in motion on the sweep. It's kept by Forbes, and he's going down. Jake Alexander, the senior, ends the drive.
Well, for South Point, what a job getting off the field doesn't really matter how far they drive if you can get off the field and make a big stop. And here, the defense getting off their blocks, and for Rocky Mount, with it only being about 1.5 yards to go there, you want to just run it up the middle instead of stringing it out there. And for South Point, they threw the blockers off, strung it outside, and then too much speed, bringing them down for a loss of yards there, and now getting the ball back to their offense.
Wonder if maybe the kicker for Rocky Mount still feeling the ill effects from that injury from earlier in the game. Red Raiders start off the 15, and Etherton gets the first call. He gets about 6 yards out to the 21. And I think Etherton and Coach Linebarger will be pleased with 6 yards all night long on first down.
Yeah, well, he would be pleased with 4 yards per carry. That's what he told us. Getting 6 is a couple more than maybe he wanted to average, but it'll be interesting to watch the adjustments both defenses make in this ball game. And for Rocky Mount, Coach Jones, defensive coordinator, kind of talked about his strategy and how he wanted to attack this triple option offense.
They go back to the ground, kicking it to the outside. Etherton again for the first down, out to the 29-yard line.
And Coach Jones is kind of going through the different schemes he could run, and it looks like here in this ball game he's loading the box and putting bigger defenders in there, adding another linebacker as well to try to stop this ground game. So South Point still having success, and with their speed, they're getting to the outside with their different fakes.
Pickup of 8 that time. Ticking down to the final 20 seconds of the opening quarter. Etherton again plows ahead for about 8 yards and will set his team up near a first down as the first quarter winds to an end. Jay?
Well, right now, the battle of the trenches is going to South Point. They're firing off the ball. Rocky Mount needs to stay lower and engage their blocks and do a better job of getting into the backfield.
We have completed 1 quarter in the 3A championship game. It's a 7-7 tie from Kenan Stadium. Seven ties. We start the second quarter at Kenan Stadium. South Point has the football, facing a second down and a yard to go. As we open up this second stanza, South Point able to answer with big plays of their own and keep this a 7-all game. I think what we expected, Jay, 2 very evenly matched teams here this evening. Etherton gets the carry, has the first down as he bangs out to the 44-yard line.
Well, and again, we talked about the O-line, D-line battle. And just watching continuously, South Point is sealing off their blocks and they're staying lower. And Rocky Mount, whether they need to bring a blitz or the D-line just doing a better job of getting pressure, but they're giving up too much push. And then the interior is getting pushed back, and it makes it too easy for Etherton on those quick hit runs to get up the middle.
Etherton ran for 175 yards and 3 scores a week ago. Gets a break this time as South Point turns to a new player, Toke the Mail, as carrying it for the Gryphons that time was King. The quarterback keeps it and gets close to the first down.
Well, and again, this O-line, look at the push up front with their cut blocks. Gryphons are just shoved back 3 yards, and then King, he's too fast and elusive. If he has an area to run like that, he's going to break it up the middle, then take it back outside. Just a great job by him with his vision, seeing where the lane was and knowing where to go with the ball.
South Point well over 90 yards rushing so far in this first half. Working from that triple option again. Etherton keeps it and gets the first down to the 45-yard line. We talked about his career numbers, just the 3rd player in program history to rush for over 2,000 yards in a season, Jay.
Yeah, well, he's had an illustrious career, and Coach Lineberger is very happy with how he's played this year and how he's overcome some adversity as well.
2 very blue-collar teams molded the same way. Etherton 8 rushes for 43 yards so far tonight. And the Red Raiders have it on the right side of the 50. King will keep it. Spun off one tackler down to the 35-yard line. Will be just a hair shy of the marker, but King, running with some authority this evening, picks up 8.
Well, he's running hard, but again, the D linemen are getting pushed back into the laps of the linebackers, and by the time the linebackers and DBs come up, King's already 5 yards down the field. And again, it all starts up front for the defense of the Gryphons. They've got to get pressure, and they're getting cut. Kind of the coaching point for South Point that they want to implore is firing off the ball and cutting the defenders, and they're doing a good job of holding up the defensive line right now.
Quick moving game, already a minute and a half into our second quarter. Etherton on short yardage again, gets the first down to the 31. He's really having his way here tonight as he picks up 5.
Well, and you know, we talk about so much about balancing an offense, where that's the run and the pass, but for a triple option offense, the balance is different types of runs, the fullback dives, the quick options, the formation changes. That's the balance. And for South Point, they're really mixing things up with their ground game, and Rocky Mount really doesn't know what's coming at them right now with all the different play calls.
Off the 31. King will keep it and gets maybe a yard. Nice play by this Rocky Mount defense as Rodquan White, the 5'10" outside linebacker, leading the charge along with Alex Henderson. Henderson got the sportsmanship award for Rocky Mount prior to the game.
Yeah, what a prestigious honor, such a respected award, and he got that award from the association, and all the coaches and players vote for that award, and it's such an honor before the game to walk out in midfield and receive that trophy.
Connor Owensby, the recipient for South Point, their great center. So those two guys battling on the gridiron on this drive. Play clock down to 5 as the Red Raiders get set. King keeps it again, lowers his head and gets down to the 26. King running with authority as he finally bowls over Deshaun Fate, the 6-foot senior.
If you're Fate right here, getting blocked, throwing off one, then making the tackle, that's how you got to play it. Finding King, knowing where the ball is, not letting anyone block you, and then using good technique when you tackle him, because he's tough to bring down.
3rd down and 6 for South Point, just their second 3rd down of the game. They converted their first. Trying to extend this drive and break the 7-all stalemate. Etherton again, and nothing doing that time. Like it was Richardson, Artavius Richardson, the team leader in tackles for loss with 11, in to make the stop. Gets a tackle for loss there, and it's 4th down.
And Richardson, 6'2", 220, but only a junior, playing both ways, tight end and defensive end. You need your best players to step up at the biggest moment. Look at that tackle right there. He kind of held him, twisted him, wouldn't let Etherton get by him.
Richardson, interest from Old Dominion and North Carolina State, but as Jay alluded to, just a junior. 4th down and 6, they're going to go for it. King will keep it, looking for help, and going down at the 30. Rodquan White, the junior, makes the big stop and gets off the field.
Chris, it's all about shedding your blocker in front. Look at White throwing off his man and making the tackle, stringing King out. I'm surprised both teams on their critical 4th down plays were running the ball outside. They've had so much success running it downhill there. They tried to go outside. Rocky Mount was able to string it out and then bring him down.
Man in motion, and keeping it as Sanders, and he gets thrown for a loss of maybe 2 yards. Let's head down to the field and rejoin Erin, who's got more on that Red Raider defense.
At the quarter break, the defensive coordinator took his defensive players aside and said, guys, it's going to take a lot of heart, a lot of energy, and a lot of effort. But if we just do our job and play football, we'll be okay. And he said, you know what? They also ran a little option. There's no reason why we can't stop the option. We see it every day.
Erin, thanks a lot. And that's a great point. We'll get back to that in a second. Bell over the middle, has a man down the seam. It's a 1st down for the Gryphons as D'Angelo Collins hauls in his 6th catch of the season.
There, Bell. No pressure. Look at that time to throw. It was a pass, a post route right over the middle. He's 4 for 4. They're doing a good job, Chris, of throwing the ball through the air. Not something that they do a lot, but here tonight, perfect time to mix in the pass. And South Point wasn't expecting this many passing plays Rocky Mount wasn't expecting this many pass plays.
Gain of 17 there. Gryphons have it at the 45. Great look at Forrest Bell, who's not only a great athlete, but a great student. Ranks 3rd in his class of 258. And our first penalty flag of the night, thrown by our back judge, Ronnie Blunt. But Rocky Mount got the timeout prior to the flag, I believe. Let's hear a referee. So we thought we were going to hear from the referee. Didn't turn his microphone on. Looks like Rocky Mount did get the timeout prior to the delay of game penalty.
Yeah, it's going to bring him back a little bit here. But going over to the sideline, this situation, you just want to kind of get your formation set, what plays you want to run, and try to get a drive going here. And again, Bell having confidence in the passing game. He was throwing the ball on the sideline while South Point was out on offense, so keeping his arm loose. And you figure that the coaches are seeing his ability to throw the ball, how accurate he is. The wide receivers are coming through with big catches, so they're going to look for that play action pass again, Chris, on this drive.
I'm curious because South Point, as Erin alluded to, so they see the option every single day. Is Rocky Mount throwing just to try and add a wrinkle, maybe to throw off this defense a little bit?
Well, I think exactly. I mean, you watch the film, you see a team that runs the ball out of the wing tee, then all of a sudden here they mix in the pass. You've got to make adjustments. If you're South Point, change your coverages up, maybe take someone out of the box to account for that defender out on the outside and giving more help to the secondary.
1st and 10, back to the ground. And spinning off a man is Forbes. Forbes has rushed for over 100 yards 3 separate times this season. That's his third carry of the night. His first for positive yards, though, as he picks up 4.
Yeah, and Chris, with both these offenses, the defenses are really going to have to make their adjustments and change up their blitzing schemes, try to create more pressure, but it's all about adjustments because these offenses, the triple option, that's what they see in practice. But again, 1 week you see a passing team, now you see a running team, so it's hard to adjust for these defenders, but they'll get it going as this game unfolds.
Bell to the outside. It's Edwards who makes the catch. KK Edwards on the reception. And down to the 45-yard line, move the chains. Edwards, the team's leading wide receiver, with his 23rd catch of the season. And there is that 5th pass completion that Rocky Mount averages.
Yeah, and he's got all day to throw. They're focused on the run, the offensive line doing a nice job. And we talked about earlier in the game, the tackles are over 300 pounds, so they're like stone pillars out there. The interior of that line's athletic, and that really helps them in the ground game. But no one's even getting near Bell. He's got all day to throw the ball. He's scanning the field and finding his open receivers.
Bell 5 of 5 for 54 yards through the air tonight. They head back to the ground on this 1st down play. Not a whole lot of running room for Bell, who elected to keep the football. One more look.
When Bell having a big game, throwing the ball here tonight, but as a senior leader, such an important part of their program and why they're here today. And it's his ability throwing the ball, running the ball, but really leading this offense. And when we talked with Coach Battle about Bell, he was really proud of the fact that he's such a leader for this team, but the valedictorian aspect of him and how important that is for him as well.
Sanders on the call this time and bottled up after a short gain. Gains 2, bringing up 3rd down and long. Yeah, we talked about him being 3rd in his class, Jay, but he also, as you mentioned, still has the outside shot to be a valedictorian, something that I was never close to being.
I was just happy to get a B on a paper, and he's got straight A's, but that is something that you'll remember for the rest of your life, but something that you've got to be smart to get that award, but you've got to work extremely hard. He's doing it on the classroom and on the field.
3rd down and 7. Play action. Bell looking and going to keep it and swarmed under. It'll be 4th down. Nick Muse, the team leader in tackles, up to make the stop. Muse leads the team in several categories: tackles, interceptions, and right up there in tackles for loss as well.
Yeah, and for Bell there, rolling out, and you want to have the big play throwing the ball down the field. You've got a couple wide receivers running a go route into corner route. You want to hit that big shot, but him being very, very smart, rolling out, not seeing anyone open. Then Bell coming in there, but wasn't able to see him and picking up a couple yards here. They're going to go up for it on 4th down.
Yep, 4th down and 5. 4th and 4 officially. Bell, 2-step drop and contact and incomplete. The South Point defense holds again. That's the first incomplete pass of the night. Jake Alexander, the 6'1 senior, bats it away, and the Raiders survive.
Well, that's a timing route. It was just a hitch, 5 yards. South Point was ready for the passing play, and they said no. They're getting off the field once again.
See, both teams now attempted on 4th down a couple of times. Nobody's been successful in this game. South Point back to work. There's Coach Linebarger, longtime baseball coach. Been on the staff for a number of years. They go back to the ground. It's their workhorse, Etherton, who gets the call and gets about 4 or 5 yards out across the 40-yard line. Cedric Shepard, the defensive end, with his 27th tackle of the season for Rocky Mount.
Chris, both fan bases came out in full support tonight. Right, Belmont area, South Point, their fans are here, and Rocky Mount. Both sidelines are really crowded with their fans, and they're loud too.
King will keep it, has some room, has the first down on the plus side of the 50. That's the 10th carry of the night for King, who is shedding tacklers there defensively or offensively, and picks up 11 on that second down play.
It's hard to see him in the backfield, and there on the 4th down, not able to convert with the Gryphons, and they went back to the pass. They're feeling good throwing the ball, so they said why not, but South Point getting off the field.
It's 1st and 10. Etherton gets the carry again. That's his 12th carry of the night. Fights ahead for just 3 yards.
Well, it's just Etherton staying low. How would you like to tackle him? Look how low he stays here, Chris. Kind of just darts under a couple tacklers. If you're a defender, who do you stop? Etherton, King, they're coming through so quick. And again, the D line's getting pushed back a little bit, so those linebackers are forced to make the play and a lot of pressure on them.
And timeout goes to South Point as they'll burn their first timeout of this first half with 2:46 remaining in the opening 24 minutes.
Yeah, well, here in this point, 2:46 left on the clock. Regroup during this timeout if you're South Point. Try to go down and score a touchdown, but also use the clock at the same time and not give the ball back to Rocky Mount. For Rocky Mount, you've still got 2 timeouts. If you can get a stop here, maybe you can get a shot at the ball as well. But both teams playing hard right now, but this is kind of what we thought would unfold. It'd be a ground game where both teams running the ball and a lot of pressure placed on each defense.
So South Point offense at a week ago, Jay, racked up 267 yards of total offense against Kings Mountain. So they feel pretty good about the way their offense is coming into this game.
Yeah, I mean, they've got confidence, and you see it kind of flowing over into this game with the quick start they've had, and they're going for it on 4th down as well, so their coaching staff has confidence in the players that they can execute.
Team that reached the regional final a season ago, lost in the regional final. They were on the doorstep of getting here. King will keep it, trying to find some room on the outside. A nice job by the Gryphons using the sideline to their advantage, as Alex Henderson was one of the guys to help ease him out of bounds.
Yeah, it's the clock stopping here, and for Rocky Mount, again, 3rd down situation, and you figure that they may have to stop them twice because South Point may go for it again on 4th. But again, just the misdirection, but a good job by Rocky Mount spilling over, knocking King out of bounds and stopping the clock.
Talked about South Point losing in the regional final last year, went 10-5, lost to Crest, but we'll see here tomorrow. King on 3rd down calls his own number and will be short of the first down. But if history holds true, I imagine we'll see the Red Raiders go for it here as Detrell Revis, the 5'9" sophomore, up to make the stop. His first tackle of this evening, 81st of the year.
Yeah, and Revis coming up here, and usually when you're a secondary defender in the backfield, you're playing pass coverages. You maybe aren't used to seeing this type of offense where you got to stick your nose in there, but Revis recognizing the run by King, knowing where the first down marker was, and he shot in there and hit King with his shoulder to bring him down.
4th and 2, South Point going for it. 0 of 1 on 4th down tonight. Interruption in the backfield, and Etherton is going down. A loss of a yard, and again, the Gryphons hold with less than 2 minutes to go in the half.
Well, what a great time for a blitz. Coach Jones, the defensive coordinator, dialing up the pressure up the middle with the linebacker blitz, and Etherton nowhere to go. 2 linebackers coming through the A gaps and blowing up the hole.
We talked with Coach Jones at the press conference on Monday. A little upset nobody had talked to him before we did. He was all up in his feelings that no one had talked to him yet. Coach Battle brought him over, but he said, hey, this is a really good defense, and he's showing that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he was really proud of his defense and really looking forward to this game because it's a challenge for his defense. And the triple option they were going to face, he was looking forward to the opportunity tonight, but he had confidence, and we really had a good talk with him talking about his strategy.
Play clock at 10 for the Gryphons. 62 yards to go for pay dirt and just 1:53 on the clock. They start off play action. Bell with the home run ball. It's tipped up and intercepted. No, incomplete. Jake Alexander had the pick and then lost it as he hit the turf. They were looking for KK Edwards, but it was Alexander who made the big defensive play.
Well, one-on-one matchup. Again, Bell having time to throw the ball. Safety coming over the top for help. But the ball just hung up in the air a little bit too long. Bell underthrew it. Edwards had a step. But luckily for Rocky Mount, it was incomplete.
105 seconds left in this half. Do you think Rocky Mount goes back to the air here?
I think they have confidence throwing it. I wouldn't be surprised if they run it, but they're going to have to go through the air, try to move the ball down the field quickly.
Bootleg for Bell to the outside. It's caught as Edwards makes the catch, and he's right at the first down marker. Will depend on the spot. It'll be a little bit short. Time is wasting for the Gryphons, down to 93 seconds, but he does get out of bounds and stop the clock.
And Chris, I love these sprint out plays because it lets the quarterback have the run pass option where if the coverage is tight, Bell can run the ball, but there is a two-man wide receiver over there running their routes and able to find Edwards just on the quick out route there.
3rd down and 1. Sanders in motion. Bynum gets the carry, bouncing off one tackler, has the first down across midfield as Rocky Mount converts on 3rd down for just the 3rd time tonight. We talked about how good the Rocky Mountain defense has been. We've highlighted the South Point defense. One note I want to go back to for just a moment. They've only allowed 7 points in the first quarter of games this year. They've never allowed more than 7 points in the first quarter of any contest this season. Bynum again leapfrogs one defender and gets about 5 yards.
Here for Rocky Mount, you've got to play with a quicker tempo. 1 timeout left here. They're still running the ball, still staying true to their offense, mixing in the pass as well, but Bynum getting those tough yards. Here on the other side of midfield with the clock dwindling down, they're going to have to play at a faster pace.
Down inside a minute. Play action again. Bell down the field and incomplete. It was almost intercepted that time by JT Starr, who's got 5 interceptions, had 2 picks a week ago, but now 3rd down for the Gryphons.
Well, Starr almost looked like he was running the route in his safety position. He read that it was going to be a corner route and was a little bit too far for him, but it's fun watching these secondary defenders see the route concepts, follow the eyes of the quarterback Bell, and then they're almost able to pick it off.
Starr, an all-conference defender as a junior a season ago. Also had 3 pass breakups in the regional final win over Kings Mountain. 3rd down and 5 with under a minute to go for the half. Sanders, the motion man. It's Bynum who keeps it and stopped for virtually no gain. And if you're Rocky Mount, would you use timeouts here or just head to the locker room and are content with a 7-7 tie?
Well, here now in this situation is going to be 4th down. You just want to let this clock go away, punt the ball here, and then go into half, because if you go for it here and don't get it, you're going to give South Point pretty good field position, but
it looks like they are going to go for it.
They're going to keep the offense out on the field.
Coach Battle looking on. Offense will stay on the field. Play clock is down to 10 seconds. They'll have to run at least 1 play. It's about a 7-second differential or so. Play clock at 1, and there's the timeout by Rocky Mount. Their final timeout of the half with 8 seconds left. Or check that with 6 seconds left. So now, what's the play call here?
Well, I think the play call was smart there by Battle, letting the time go away there right until the play clock was at 1, calling the timeout. Now with 6 seconds here, you can take a shot. You can keep your offense out there and take a shot towards the end zone here, because by the time you run the play, the clock will expire. So either you score or you go into half. So we'll see if they bring out the punt unit or if they keep the offense out on the field. And right now it looks like there's a little bit of confusion on both sides.
What would you do if you're Coach Battle?
Well, in this situation, 6 seconds left, I'd throw the ball. Throw the ball towards the end zone. Take a shot. Again, 6 seconds is going to run out by the time you roll out and throw the ball up in the air. So might as well be aggressive.
First meeting between these two programs. Rocky Mount trying to win their first state championship since 1963 when they won back-to-back titles. 62-63. Meanwhile, South Point looking for their first championship since 2009. And the way things have gone, we might be in for a very entertaining second half, and should be, and possibly longer than that. They are going to go for it. Bell drops the snap down the field in quadruple coverage, bobbled and caught by someone. With no time left on the clock, it's caught by Collins, but that will end the first half. So they throw the Hail Mary. Somehow Collins, off to the deflection, makes the catch. One more look.
Well, the prayer was answered. It was caught. It was just a few yards short. This ball ping-ponged around, but that's why you take the shot. That's why you throw the ball down the field to provide an opportunity, and it looks like here they're going to get one more play.
Let's see if our referee will.
Please put 3 seconds on the clock.
Oh, they're going to put 3 seconds back on the clock. A 39-yard completion, and timeout called by South Point. The Red Raider sideline looking a little perplexed, as we all are. We thought time had expired, but let's look at the catch one more time. There are 3 guys around him, and then Collins pinned it against his thigh.
And there's no instant replay, but boy, that looked like a catch. He held it onto it. The ball did not hit the ground. And again, if you want to win a state championship and get that ring, you got to be aggressive. You got to take the shots. And Rocky Mount not playing conservatively at all, and Coach Lineberger upset with the clock situation there. There's only 6 seconds left, and everyone in the stadium on the South Point side is not happy with the clock still having 3 seconds and one more play for the Gryphons.
And voicing their displeasure in a rather vociferous tone toward our officiating crew tonight as well.
Well, here now, sometimes plays are going to go against you, and sometimes calls may not work out in your favor. But now, if you're a defender right now, you've got to stand strong. And what a stop this would be after maybe a play not going your way, getting a stop here. And for Rocky Mount, they're getting a chance here to put one in the end zone before half.
3 seconds left. First down and goal. Ball on the 3. Crowd really energized on both sides for the first time tonight. And a whistle. And we'll wait and see what our officiating crew sorts out. Maybe just double checking the spot.
And Chris, every game there's a couple, 3 or 4 plays that you can kind of look back on and say, this is what changed the game. And this is one of those huge plays unfolding here right before half.
Bell from the shotgun. Play clock at 15. Sanders in motion. Bell flipping one, and it is incomplete. Gryphons, and a flag comes in. Gryphons were pleading for a flag, and the back judge, Ronnie Blunt, throws the hanky onto the field.
Wow, I've never seen both fan bases get so upset on one play, but boy, Chris, after that play happened, Rocky Mount was furious there was not a pass interference.
Defense, number 14, half the distance to the goal, still playing first down.
And it looked like early contact from South Point there. Rocky Mount was upset, then a late flag flew in and saved the Gryphons' offensive play.
Let's take a look. Yeah, some contact, but I think the issue for South Point is the tardiness of the call.
Well, yeah, that was about 3 seconds late after the play, and there are 2 plays in their minds going against them. For Rocky Mount, you've got to take advantage of this opportunity.
One untimed down, bought the 1.5. Bynum plowed under, and he's going to be stopped short. And what a way to end the first half. Momentum firmly in the corner of South Point heading to the locker room.
What a confidence boost. 2 plays not going your way and still able to stand strong, get a stop, get off the field, and they're flying high into half with a huge, huge play, bringing him down Bynum, keeping him out of the end zone.
An entertaining first half, highlighted by explosive plays and great defense. Our halftime coverage of the 3A state championship game begins right after this. A very entertaining first half of football here at Kenan Stadium as the South Point Red Raiders and the Rocky Mountain Gryphons deadlock at 7 apiece here in the halftime intermission as we take a look, Jay, at some of the first half numbers in a very interesting first half. Numbers pretty similar, although South Point dominating the rushing yard department.
Well, for Rocky Mountain, very balanced, throwing and running. 103 on the ground compared to 0 for South Point. That's something to look at for South Point. If they can get anything going through the air, maybe on some of those critical fourth down plays they didn't get, throw the ball there to change things up. But again, 1 penalty, very clean for both teams. Really just going to come down to adjustments and who can make the big play, who can create a turnover here that's going to swing things in the second half.
Or who can maybe be more consistent, convert some of those third downs. As you can see, third downs have not been kind to either side. 3 of 7 for Rocky Mountain, just 1 of 3 for South Point, and neither team has converted a fourth down this evening.
Yeah, well, they've moved the ball down the field very easily, but on the critical money down, they haven't been able to come through there. And it's really a couple singular plays that you're going to look back on this game and say, this is what changed the course of it. There at halftime was a big stop by South Point. What's going to happen here in the second half?
And to correct myself, Rocky Mountain has converted 2 fourth downs tonight. They're 2 of 4, and South Point is 0 for 2 on fourth down. But going to be interesting to see what adjustments are made at halftime.
Yeah, and when you go into half, this type of ball game, it's even. You've got 24 minutes left in your season for these seniors. This is the last game of their high school career. Your goal's out in front, but it's one of those things where you make the adjustments, but you got to find a way to win this game.
Erin Summers chatted with the coaches at the break and has a report for us on the sideline. Erin?
Chris, both of the head coaches used the same keyword, execute. They said that they're playing hard, the effort's there, but they have to execute better. Rocky Mountain head coach said that they have to be more aggressive up front specifically, and the South Point head coach said that the defense is playing great. He was really happy that they were able to stave off those 6 points there in the end of the second quarter. But he said, again, you just have to execute their plays better, and hopefully that they'll end up with the win in the end.
Erin, thanks a lot. We'll look forward to your reports as we continue on this evening. It will be South Point Jay getting the football to start the second half and a chance to get some momentum. Remember, they had all the momentum going to the locker room at the end of the first half.
Yeah, and we talked about these adjustments. Well, for Rocky Mountain, Coach Battle said it, what Erin alluded to, the defensive line to do a better job of getting pressure up front, helping out those linebackers. And for South Point, executing on those fourth down plays, they've got to come through, but also, too, they need something going here on this first possession to try to put pressure on Rocky Mountain to come back, because both of these teams, you kind of get the feeling that whoever scores first, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the opposing team to come back. And again, neither team is a predominant pass team, so that's when mistakes start to happen, when you get out of your character and have to come out of your game plan.
Ty Tinker is back deep for South Point. Chase Miller back in the game to kick. So whatever was ailing him in the first half, now he appears to be good to go. Could be some sort of equipment issue he had. Short kickoff and fielded from ahead of the 25-yard line. Trying to make a couple men miss as Max Mead is on the return for the Red Raiders. And he's out to the 33-yard line, and that's where South Point will start this drive to open up the second half.
Chris, you'll see teams do those sky kicks because they don't want to kick it deep. They'd rather give up field position around the 30-yard line than have the possibility of a long return. So Rocky Mountain just playing it safe. And here for the Red Raiders, pretty good field position to start off the third quarter.
They had good field position on their first drive, and that led to 7 points. But we're not able to capitalize any time after their first drive of the contest. Just one man in the backfield as they put a man in motion. It's King who will keep it now, shovel one away, and bouncing off one man is Nolan Wilson. There's a flag at the 35-yard line.
To number 10, Nolan Wilson.
Like Brian Scott tossed his flag, and we'll hear from Roger Latney for the first time in this second half. Preliminary indication is a legal block in the back as we take another look at the replay.
Well, here on the triple option, King pitching the ball out, and it was Fate right there coming off of the edge, the stock block. He eluded there and made the big hit for the collision.
Ooh, big time hit there. That'll certainly wake you up to start the second half.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the toughest thing for a DB is standing out there in the open lane, one-on-one with the blocker, throwing him off, and then making the tackle. So Fate's going to earn a some extra points for that big play for his defense.
There was a block in the back call on South Point, so back the Red Raiders up behind the chains. Bootleg for King, looking to throw for the first time tonight. Gobbled up and going down. Artavius Richardson with his 6th sack of the season. And for the Rocky Mount defense, their 23rd quarterback takedown of the year.
Well, not a lot of opportunities for this D-line to get pressure, but Richardson here on the few passing plays that they presented here coming out, getting pressure again, getting into the backfield with his hands. He's got long arms. He's able to stay low, throw off his blocker, and only a junior. He's only going to grow and get better. He's got a future at the college level, and colleges are looking for guys that can play both ways, that are athletic, and they're going to grow, and Richardson fits the mold.
Loss of 7 at 2nd and 25, and not much doing there for Nolan Wilson, who got the carry. Wilson, 3 carries for 24 yards a week ago. Has had a couple of attempts tonight, but not a whole lot to write home about. It's 3rd down and all the way to Hillsborough.
Here just the ground game downhill again. You wonder at what point are these ground hill runs, fullback dives up the middle going to take a toll on Rocky Mount, but there the tackle, 3rd and long situation to Hillsborough, like you said, Chris. That's a different zip code even.
Etherton gets the call and fights ahead for just a couple of yards. You saw him slap the turf. He's frustrated. He couldn't find more real estate. And it's a very inauspicious start for South Point here in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, when you go into half, coaches always say, guys, we need to finish the half strong and come out and play hard and fiery the first 5 minutes, set the tone. And if you're Rocky Mount, you got to be happy with that first stand there. A good job on special teams. Then 3 downs and off the field, giving the ball back to your offense in pretty good field position.
First punt for either team tonight as Tyler Hall boots it across midfield. So good field position for Rocky Mount as they'll start from the 46. 2 teams that have put together a long, impressive winning streak. South Point has won 12 straight. Rocky Mount has put together a 10-game winning streak as they enter action tonight. And for one team, it's a state championship. For the other, it's a tough way to end what's been a really good season.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these games, they're so tough because you get one team that fulfills their goal and their dream, the other team coming so far but falling short. But both teams have a lot to be proud of, and it's amazing. They haven't lost since September, which seems like a long time ago. And I was going to say back when the weather was warm, but again, it's warm here tonight, 70 degrees, perfect conditions for a state championship.
After a 32-yard punt, the Gryphons start on the ground. It's a pitch to the outside from Forrest Bell as Sanders got the call and gets just a couple of yards. It's 2nd down after a pickup of about 3.
For Rocky Mount, using the option of their own, Forrest Bell pitching it out there, but good discipline, staying on their assignments and running in packs. And South Point looks like they got a better feel for this attack right now with the option.
Mike Hayes making the stop on the previous play, an all-conference selection a season ago. Bell working from the shotgun, puts Sanders in motion. They'll pass again. Flipping one down the sideline, it's complete, and a huge play for Rocky Mount as Collins makes the catch. D'Angelo Collins with his 3rd catch of the night. And the Gryphons into the red zone.
Well, Chris, if Rocky Mount goes on and wins this game, I would say the difference is them opening up the playbook and using their passing attack, and Bell again with the sprint out. Collins on the wheel route running wide open down the sideline. All the focus was up front for South Point, and Collins just sprinting down uncovered. Huge play moving the ball down the field.
Bynum gets the call this time and picks up a handful of yards. We'll bring up 2nd down. It's the 12th carry of the night for Bynum, and Rocky Mount has done a nice job, Jay, spreading the wealth offensively between their featured running backs.
Yeah, I mean, they keep guys fresh, and it helps the offense with their different formations, and it kind of hide guys, but also, too, as a defender, who do you stop? There's so many different weapons that Rocky Mount presents, and so many different guys that can be dangerous when they have the ball.
Lead play, Bynum gets the carry, shedding tackles, and he's in! Gryphons take the lead. 22nd rushing score of the season for Bynum, who scampers in from 15 yards out.
Well, the power play with Sanders leading his way on the wing with the block. Bynum just bulldozing his way through, getting in the end zone. You feel the momentum switch over to the Rocky Mount sideline. What a drive on defense, holding up South Point, then getting the ball back, moving the ball down the field with a big play through the air, then Bynum finishing it off.
Bynum, as we mentioned earlier, scored the game-winning touchdown in the third-round victory for Rocky Mount, as the extra point by Miller is good, and the Gryphons take a 7-point lead.
But for Rocky Mount, they came out fast after halftime, and South Point here on the run, just not able to get in the blocking lanes. Easy touchdown by Bynum going in, but we talked about early in the first half, Rocky Mount, the first play of the game, special teams touchdown, and then all of a sudden South Point came right back down the field and scored a touchdown of their own. So we'll watch how they respond to this early start from the Gryphons.
And the Gryphons, a quick scoring drive there, Jay, went 54 yards in just 4 plays, thanks in large part to that big pass play. Let's look at Bynum right here. Oh, I see a young fella.
That dance, I have a feeling that's going to be the new whip and nay or the new dab. I think we just started something.
Tyrell Forbes is dancing.
This is going to go viral. Bynum started a new dance.
It's going to go like platinum or something, right? I don't know.
We'll do it. I mean, we'll talk to him after the game and see where he came up with it. But I was pretty impressed with that celebration. Plus, it didn't draw a flag.
I'm amazed it didn't draw a flag. I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Well, that's the best part of it.
Oh, absolutely.
To dance and get away with it.
Short kickoff, fielded again by one of the up men. It's Meade on the return for the second time this half, and then plowed under at the 35. Ball comes out, but the officials are going to say his knee was down at the 36. Well, scampering all the way back near the end zone was Dante Whitaker, but our officiating crew right on top of it saying that Meade's knee was down, and we'll see if South Point can respond down by 7.
15-yard return. Ball to 36.
Looks like his elbow was down there. Good call.
Yeah, his elbow was down. It's hard to see his legs, but again, no instant replay. The referees saw the elbows down, made the call.
Toss. Wilson up the hatch and out to the 47, maybe the 48. It's a first down for South Point as Wilson picks up his longest run of the night as he gains 11 on just his 3rd carry.
Well, Wilson not used a lot tonight, but here on the fake up the middle with Etherton, then the pitch outside. Look at all the blockers outside. 3 guys out there leading the way. And again, whenever you have guys steamrolling their way through, you just follow those blockers and kind of stay patient, but then run up their backs to get a couple extra yards.
Trailing in these playoffs, nothing new for South Point. They trailed West Rowan at the half a couple weeks ago for the first time in 9 weeks. Trying to come from behind again tonight as King keeps it and picks up about 7, maybe 8 yards on first down. Certainly helps when you've experienced being down late in the game or midway through a game in these playoffs.
Yeah, well, you're not shocked to be in this situation. You don't fold under pressure. And again, you have the patience and the confidence to come back. And I think that's a big key, Chris, because if you've never been tested throughout the year, you get in this situation, you don't know how you're going to react. But for South Point, this is kind of par for the course, and they know they can come back.
Second down and short. They go back to the ground. Etherton gets the call and has the first down after pickup of 5 as we head down to the field and rejoin Erin Summers, who's got more on the South Point signal caller.
Chris, quarterback Deontay King didn't play last year because he was academically ineligible. And instead of letting that get him down, he decided to take charge of it and turn it around. He's making up for his lost time. He's got great grades this year, and he's become a really good leader on the team. Lineberger had great things to say about this player.
Erin, thanks a lot. Coach Lineberger said he's got more moves than X-Lax. That's a lot of moves.
Coach Lineberger is one of the funniest coaches we've talked to all year, but a great guy, an excellent coach, and boy, he's proud of his team.
Being proud of the defensive effort there is Rocky Mount. A terrific play by the Gryphons, gobbling up King in the backfield, Richardson, Shepard, just a couple of many who were in on this stop.
Well, if you're the coaching staff at Rocky Mount, what do you talk about? You talk about your defensive line getting pressure, and then your outside defenders on the perimeter coming up when you see a run coming up and run support. And right there's 4 guys flying up to make the tackle.
Loss on the play of a yard brings up 2nd and 11 halfway through the 3rd quarter. King flipping it downfield, incomplete. And South Point wanted a flag as Davis Ray, the intended target. That's the first successful pass attempt tonight by King.
Yeah, and right here, the crowd was oohing and awing, looking for the flag. But again, I think it's important for South Point, even though it wasn't a completion, to throw the ball. Coach Weinberger, I think, went into half and decided to open up the playbook because you can't be one-dimensional in this type of game.
Well, this is a very aggressive secondary for Rocky Mount. They had 3 interceptions in the regional final a week ago. 2 of them were pick sixes. So you don't want to get too aggressive trying to throw the football. 3rd down. King will look to throw again. Avoids 2 tacklers, got another block, and the shifty man with more moves than excellence has a first down and more. As Coach Linebarger would say, King is so fast, he can turn off the light and be in bed before it gets dark in the room. Gains 23.
Well, wasn't Coach Linebarger right? Look at this play by King. When the play breaks down, he is at his best. And I think he broke that play down on purpose. Look at him here, looking for the pass play outside. There was one-on-one coverage, but too much pressure, and then look at him make his move zigzag. Whoop. Faked out a couple Gryphons there, and no one even close to him. No one, he just kind of trotted out of bounds, made it look easy.
As I mentioned, gains 23, has the first down. Etherton on the fullback dive, gets down to the 15-yard line, picks up about 4 that time on first down. And that's what Coach Linebarger wants, 4 yards on every carry.
And Chris, going back to that passing play by King, you know, that's kind of a good play call right there, giving the run pass option, but if it's not there, let things break down. Let him make the play with his feet and kind of improvise there, and I think that's something to get him in the open field is important for them in the second half.
And we talked about Rocky Mount making guys interchangeable. South Point has done that as well. 16 carries tonight, both for King and Etherton, so they've mixed it up nicely. King will keep it again, pitching it, and on the loose this time it's Wilson, who scampers down to the 5-yard line. It's a first down for the Raiders.
Well, now they're starting to mix up their play calls with Wilson getting the ball here a couple times in this 3rd quarter. And again, with the option play, focusing on King, it leaves Wilson wide open on the pitch. There wasn't a pitch defender for the Gryphons out there, and Wilson had an easy job picking up the first.
Mickey Linebarger looking on, his team knocking on the doorstep of tying up this 3A state championship. Straight ahead, it's Etherton again, plowing toward the goal line, and in! Red Raiders 2 within 1. It's the 2nd score of the night for Etherton.
And for Etherton, again, it was a quick hit. You see the fans getting back into this game for South Point, seeing their star running back fight his way into the end zone again. And Chris, he stays so low to the ground. He gets the ball so quick on that fullback handoff, and it doesn't give the defenders time to see where the ball is, and he just gets lower than them, and then he died forward for the TD.
Extra points is good. Well, just what we expected, right, Jay? 2 teams that are very evenly matched in a tie game as Etherton, with the second effort, got through even though the ball popped out.
Yeah, and this is like a chess match between both teams, changing up their coverage, changing up their game plans at halftime. But again, also, one team will go down and score, and then the next one fights right back, and you wouldn't expect anything less out of 2 teams that have had great years, but they're here in the state championship, and they're vying for the ultimate goal.
Etherton with 83 rushing yards tonight, about 17 away from picking up his 12th 100-yard rushing game of the season.
You know, Coach Linebarger talked about his desire. I think it's the epitome of him and his toughness on that play right there. Just fighting up the middle, not really a big hole, but again, a couple guys trying to bring him down, but he's been a workhorse all season, and his coaching staff was really proud of him when we talked to him this week. 2
teams that really come from different places. Rocky Mount 8-5 a season ago. Of course, we mentioned South Point going to the regional championship, and this is a Rocky Mount team that has won 8 games every season under Coach Jason Battle, but reaching the state championship this year. South Point has been terrific in the conference, Jay. They've won 14 of the last 17 conference championships and have reached the 3rd round or later in the last 4 seasons consecutively, and make it 5 years in a row now.
Yeah, for South Point, you look at their schedule, all they have to do is take the Shelby teams off their schedule. That's their 2 losses, the Shelby and the Crest. They're undefeated, so next year they need to look towards taking them off the schedule. For Rocky Mount, their 2 losses. One's to Greenville Rose, who's in the state championship. The other one was to Middle Creek, who was in the Eastern Regional Final, which we covered last week.
Sanders, one big explosive return tonight, will not have one here as he's bottled up just across the 20-yard line. So yeah, not bad teams to lose to. And speaking of Crest, you can see them right here tomorrow. Jay and I will have it. High noon for you against Southern Durham on Channel 325. All the games at Carter Finley Stadium on Channel 323, and all the games at BB&T Field in Winston-Salem on Channel 324. Full day of football for you right here, only on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel.
Big day and great weather. You know, usually this time of the year, it's cold. There's even snow flurries in the forecast, but now this is beach weather, Chris. This is great.
I think I would like it to be like 40 degrees for me on state championship week.
Well, I wouldn't mind 65 or warmer, but I wouldn't go down to 40, but
no.
I'd have my scarf and mittens out if it was below 50, but you know, I'm a little bit cold.
Straight up the middle, Bynum gets the carry. Check that, it was Sanders who got the call and gets 3. Jay's cold-natured.
Yeah, I mean, I get frostbite if it's below 50, let's be honest. So this is perfect weather, but again, you know, for both of these teams, whenever you come out of training camp, you're in that hot weather, and then you go through the season, you play in different kind of weather conditions. But for both these teams, they persevered through their schedule, through their weather conditions, and really playing outstanding here tonight.
2nd and 7. Sanders on the sweep. And bottled up, and we'll bring up 3rd and medium. You know, we talked at the half about how each team has done a nice job not turning the football over. That's really nothing new for these 2 teams. Rocky Mount plus 11 in turnovers differential this season, and South Point plus 20 in turnover margin.
Well, why are these teams here? It's because of what you just said. Turnover margin and penalties. I mean, you can't win.
Yeah.
You can't win if you turn the ball over, and these teams are well coached and very disciplined, and that's one of the huge reasons they've made it this far. And we've seen so many teams, Chris, this year with a lot of penalties and a lot of turnovers just be detrimental, but these teams are playing very clean.
3rd and 5, bootleg. Bell flipping it downfield. Pass is caught. Will achieve the 1st down as Bynum makes the catch, and Bell completes his 9th pass of the night. He's now 9 of 12 and moved the chains again as Bynum hauls in his 8th catch of the season. And his first of this contest. Came in with 151 yards receiving to the fullback.
Well, again, getting Bell on the sprint formation, throwing against his body. But Bynum, the star running back, also has good hands as well, coming across the formation, hiding himself from South Point's defender and able to get the catch in the flat.
149 yards passing for Bell tonight. As we told you a moment ago, 9 of 12. For a guy that's 60% coming in, he's had another good night. Collins on the sweep around the far side, gets about 5 or 6 yards. Will depend on the spot, and now 2nd down and medium for Rocky Mount. This has been fun to watch tonight.
Well, both these teams, they're well coached, talented, but they're playing hard. I mean, it's fun to watch teams that they're executing their craft and running their offenses, and they do it to a T. And again, these defenders have a big chore tonight, trying to follow all the different formations with these wing T and triple option offenses.
Spun down that time was Bynum, and a nice play in the backfield by Tyler Hall, who had a sack and 8 tackles last week, an all-conference player a season ago. 15 tackles for loss on the season, has another one here.
Well, that's pretty good defense right there.
Can't argue with
Ball's
that.
handed off, then Hall flying into the backfield.
That was Forbes on the carry from a moment ago, I beg your pardon. Forbes with 4 carries tonight. It's now 3rd down and 4 with 100 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Gryphons 4 of 8 on 3rd down tonight. Play action. Bell gets rid of it in a hurry and incomplete. Had a man right in his kitchen that time, and all he could do was just heave it downfield and nobody home.
Coach Lineberger bringing the blitz there, and I think they could kind of tell that this could be a possible passing down, a 3rd down play into his Muse, getting his hands up in the air and causing the incompletion from Bell.
It's the first time we've seen Rocky Mount punt tonight. Chase Miller is back deep. Just the 5th punt of the season for Miller, averaging 41 yards per kick. nobody back deep for South Point. High snap. And it's Bell, I beg your pardon, who's the punter. And down at the 28-yard line. So they went with Bell that time and not the regular punter Miller, trying to change things up. And we'll see what the Red Raiders do here, still tied at 14.
Well, now is the ultimate punt-safe formation. Usually what you do is, if you don't want there to be a threat of a fake, you keep your defense out on the field, you just put one returner there. But for South Point, they didn't even put a returner out there. They are playing extra safe there with their whole defense on the field, with the threat of Bell being the punter, but also being able to throw the ball.
1:19 for the third quarter. Strength on strength here tonight. King will give it to Etherton, who fights ahead for a handful of yards. And that's exactly what South Point wants. They get 5 yards on that carry. And it's not going to be flashy. They're not going to wow you, but they're going to get the job done.
Yeah, well, they like to use Etherton up the middle, then let King do his damage on the outside. And he does it with an option play, but also, again, I'd like to see him get it again with the run-pass option, but the ability to just let the play break down, then use his feet to pick up the yardage.
King and Etherton both at 88 yards rushing tonight. It's Wilson who gets the call this time, and Wilson appears to have the first down across the 40-yard line. Needed 5, got 7, and a first down.
Well, that quick pitch right there, really the key block is the right tackle sealing the defensive end, and Wilson running right off the right side there and getting the first down. Really good job with his vision. Wasn't a big part of that first half, but now stepping up huge in the third quarter.
Wilson 5 carries for 35 yards tonight. Become a nice change of pace back there for South Point. Play clock inside of 10. King will keep it, and carrying tacklers with him near midfield. Well, King, who's a senior, as Erin told you earlier, missed last year because of some grade issues, certainly making his presence known in his final high school game.
Yeah, last year, learned kind of with a season off and taking the most of this opportunity, and here, going into the fourth quarter, what an evenly matched game, Chris.
And that will take us to the end of the third quarter. Well, after 3 quarters, we're right back where we started. 12 minutes will decide who wins the 3A state championship. We'll have the final stanza right after this. Well, it all comes down to this, the final 12 minutes of regulation, maybe more. We'll wait and see what happens between two very talented football teams. 14-14 as we start the fourth quarter. South Point football, second down and about 3 to go from right around midfield. Along with Jay Sonnhalter, Erin Summers, and the rest of our outstanding Time Warner Cable Sports Channel team. Chris Edwards with you from Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill. 2nd and 3. Etherton up the middle and appears to have achieved the first down. Another solid run there by Etherton, who's over 90 yards rushing on now 19 carries, Jay.
Well, and Chris, I don't think I can remember a play where he hasn't picked up about 3 or 4 yards. I mean, he's an automatic 3 to 4 yard gain, and Coach Lineberger talked about him. We want 4 yards per carry. Well, he gives it to him. He gives it to his coach what he needs, picks up the first down, but also helps them on 2nd and 3rd down, those positive yards he creates on first down.
To your point, only 3 carries where he has not achieved at least 3 yards. King on the pitch to Wilson. Real estate in front of him, and a nice play in the open field by Rocky Mount, as there on the stop was Fate up from his safety position to halt the forward progress of Wilson and bring up 2nd down.
Well, that's the 3rd time we've called Fate's name with his tackle in the open field. Again, he's getting stock blocked one-on-one on the outside, and for South Point, they're creating lanes with their wide receivers playing out wide with the running lanes on the triple option. There's a lot of open room, so presents a lot of problems to Fate and his defenders, but he's doing a good job adjusting here in the second half. 2nd
down, 7 to go. Just over a minute into our fourth quarter. South Point looking for a tie-breaking score. It's Wilson again for just a couple of yards. Again, Rocky Mount using the sideline to their advantage.
Yeah, and Chris, you look at the score right now, 14-14, 10:47 left on the clock. There's not going to be that many more possessions left in this game with the running ability and the clock moving as fast as it is. So it's important for both teams when they've got an opportunity here to punch it in, because you don't know how many more times you're going to have to score. Rocky Mount's playing good defense right now. This is a critical third down coming up.
South Point tonight on third down, 2 of 5. Third down has not been kind to the Red Raiders. They'll flip it downfield, incomplete, and a flag comes in. This will move the chains. The first penalty of the night on Rocky Mount forthcoming will be our second pass interference call of the evening.
When Wilson's 6 feet tall, so he's a big guy out wide. Split him out there in the slot. He's going to get the flag.
Does have 13 catches coming into play tonight and is interfered with. Here's our referee.
Pass interference. Defense. 15 yard. First down.
It's a 15-yard penalty. And we'll put the ball inside the 30. One more look at the interference.
Well, again, it's a play action. King flipping his hips, getting pressure, but it was Wilson on a slant route, getting pushed. But again, with them opening up the playbook, they haven't been able to complete it there, but it was a flag. It puts pressure on Rocky Mount's defense. They haven't seen the pass a lot. They get a flag that's a backbreaker, picking up the first down.
Just the second pass attempt of the night for King, as he keeps it on the end around. King shutting defenders. Real estate in front of him. King to the outside. Touchdown, Red Raiders. A 27-yard run by King, his 24th rushing score of the year.
Won the fake up the middle to Etherton. The focus was on him, and then once he got to the outside, he didn't even have to pitch it. With his electric running ability, he found the end zone, but it looked like he came up a little bit lame there, maybe a little cramp or something going on, but he's able to walk it off.
We'll get a chance to rest on the sideline. A lot of attaboys and daps coming his way.
Well, you've got to step up here in the state championship. Your best players rising up, and King making a play for his team. And you know, we talked about the adversity he fought through, and such an excellent year as a sophomore, then sitting out last year and coming into this season, his final chance to make a mark, and he's making his mark here tonight.
A 7-play, 71-yard drive, but there's a flag on the extra point. Here's our official, Roger Landry.
Encroachment. Defense. That penalty decline. We'll still try for a point.
Probably a smart call to decline the penalty. Don't want to risk any kind of snafus.
Yeah, exactly. That's the correct play call there, just doing the re-kick.
Lamperer for the extra point. And the Red Raiders lead by 7. But plenty of time for the Gryphons. They got to get their offense going as they find themselves on the wrong side of a 21-14 score.
Don't count them out yet. Every time there's been a score, the other team has matched it. Boy, the fight in both teams. This is what it's all about. The fan base is being excited, supporting their team, has gone back and forth. You really can't ask for anything more in a high school football game, Chris.
Take me inside the huddles. We'll start with Rocky Mount down by 7.
Well, for Rocky Mount, you're down in the huddle right now saying, hey, we need a big play. Let's get another return just like Sanders brought us to start the game. Let's create some momentum. And then right now for South Point, they're probably going to go back to that sky kick. So you're telling your guys, stay in your lanes and make sure you make the sure tackle and run together to the football. You can't create a big play right now and let Rocky Mount respond.
Both of these teams have had tough roads to get here, but Rocky Mount has put up at least 28 points in every playoff game so far this season. South Point, at least 28 in all of their playoff games, and mostly 30s and 40s, so defense is winning out so far tonight.
Yeah, and it's really interesting watching the stats, looking at the stats in the study this week. Both teams, same record, 13-2. Running teams, 28 points each. It was the least amount of points they scored in the playoffs. And I think you see it playing out tonight with the tight ball game we've had.
Sanders is the deep man, and he'll get an opportunity. Has already returned 1 for a touchdown. Similar play maybe fakes the end around. Sanders will keep it. South Point not fooled this time, and 90 yards for the Gryphons to go.
Well, Chris, I'm very surprised they kicked it to Sanders.
So am I.
That's dangerous. You're playing with fire right there, but that's why I'm not a coach, because South Point has confidence in their players right there. What a job by the coverage unit, not going for that fake, learning from their mistakes and making the stop.
Rocky Mount just 93 yards rushing so far tonight. That's been their bread and butter. A week ago, South Point held Kings Mountain to 33 yards rushing. It's the lowest total since they held Southwest Randolph to 93 yards in week 12 of the season. We've seen the Gryphons have success through the air. Bell will go that direction again. Pass is caught, and making a couple of guys miss is Edwards, and he's achieved the first down and gets Rocky Mount out of their own end zone.
Well, Rocky Mount taking advantage of the coverage. There's one-on-one coverage on the outside. And if the defense for South Point's going to give you that situation, you've got to take advantage of it. Rocky Mount doing a good job staying with their run, but also opening up their playbook and throwing the ball more in this ball game than they have earlier this year.
14-yard pickup. Bell now over 160 yards passing. On the reverse, it's Forbes on the carry and drags a man with him up to the 33, 34-yard line. Nick Muse in on the stop.
For both teams, still plenty of time left, 3 timeouts each, but for South Point, you got a second and long situation. If you can somehow get off the field here and get a stop, you're really going to gain all the momentum.
Second down and long. Play action. Bell looking downfield through double coverage. Tipped away, incomplete. Was off the hands of Edwards. Did a nice job just to get there and try and make the catch.
Well, at South Point, a little bit dangerous now with their eyes in the backfield. That could have been a huge play by Edwards, but Bell showing off his arm, throwing a dart down the middle of the field, just not able to catch it. 2 defenders coming over, but that was a missed opportunity for Rocky Mount.
JT Starr, the closest defender to Edwards. They take a shot on second down. Now they're faced with a 3rd down and 8. 9:43 to go. Bell, bootleg, down the field, caught, first down. It's Freeman who makes the catch, his 4th catch of the evening. And when the Gryphons need a play to move the chains, they've gone to the air tonight. We're a little out of character for them based on their body of work.
Yeah, Freeman stepping up. This is the hardest throw if you're Bell, throwing across your body. He really had to sprint out there far, almost to the sideline, hold on to the ball and be patient. Then Freeman finally broke open on his 12-yard curl route, coming back to the ball for the first down.
Jake Alexander finally brought him down. Play action again, little dump pass. It's caught and making moves. There is a flag down, as upended at the 42-yard line was Freeman, who made the catch. And we'll wait and see what the infraction is all about. Could be some motion up front. Roger Lanty and his crew not been very busy tonight. A couple of questionable calls, and that one will certainly hurt the Gryphons as it will back them up on the block in the back.
Legal block in the back on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
First down and 20. One more look at the replay, and watch the hit on the end of this play.
Well, coming across the field, see Edwards right here. Ooh. Coming into your screen.
Oh.
That's Edwards, wide receiver, 5'10", trying to make the blow-up tackle
and he
on Herman Gregory.
Ouch. First down and 20. Bell. Catch made and out of bounds after a gain of about 4 yards. They say incomplete. Collins made the catch, but the official right on top of it said he was out of bounds. Dean Tipton, the head linesman, makes the call, and now the officials will confer. And what's the call? Are they going to change it and say complete pass? We'll look at the replay and see. Ooh, that's close, Jay.
Oh, he was in bounds.
He was
Chris.
in.
He had possession of that.
That's a great look by our crew right there. Best crew in the business for sure.
Perfect shot right there for us to get the best angle on it, and our crew had it spot on right there, and his feet were in bounds, and he had possession of the ball. And for Rocky Mountain, that was a missed call right in front of their sideline, something I know Coach Battle is over there talking about with the referees.
2nd and long. Play clock at 10 for Bell and the Gryphons. They go back to the ground, and not much doing there for Bynum. A gain of just a yard. It's 3rd and 19.
All right, well, here in this situation for South Point, you've got to keep everything in front of you. It doesn't really matter if you get a 5 or 10 yard gain against you, but you can't give up the big play. You can't let Rocky Mountain throw something over the top. So you need to play a little bit looser and not load the box like they have been on 1st and 2nd down.
Gryphons 4 of 9 in 3rd down conversion attempts tonight. Have to get it near midfield. Bell is flushed and will try and make something happen on the ground. He's going to tuck it and run and have the first down. Like T. Swift says, play is going to play, and Bell came to play tonight.
Well, Chris Bell only 29 yards on the year. He looked like he picked him back to right there on that
play. Picked up 19.
Unbelievable job by him. Even with the play fake, he crossed the line of scrimmage, but still pretended like he was going to pass the ball, and then faked out the defender of South Point, which he should not have, because that would have been a penalty. So you see him here running across. He runs past the line of scrimmage about 5 yards, looked like he was going to throw it. It faked out the defense, was able to give him another lane to run the ball to get the first.
And Nathan Silver, the man that got juked on that play. It's now 1st and 10. And fighting ahead was Bynum for just a couple of yards. They give him 4 officially out across midfield. And now Rocky Mount can chew some clock and try and march down for a game-tying score.
Well, and back to that last play, what a smart job by him. The senior leader quarterback, 3rd in his class, putting up a pump fake, even though he was past the line of scrimmage. It faked out the defender, whatever it takes to work, and it did there.
Catch made by Freeman and avoids one man. Tyler Hall there to make the final tackle. No gain. It's 3rd down. Some headsy plays tonight. These two teams certainly leaving it all on the field in their final game.
Yeah, and with Rocky Mount throwing the ball more tonight than they have all year, but they've stepped up, and whatever it takes to win here on this 3rd down, another critical down here for both teams. But you have to wonder at this point, would Rocky Mount go for it on 4th down if they don't pick it up here?
We'll find out. Bell to the outside. It's caught, making a couple of men miss. It's Freeman who makes the catch and has the first down. 6th catch of the night for Freeman, the team's leading wide receiver tonight. He had 16 catches in all of the previous 15 games combined.
Well, Rocky Mount runs a wing tee. What do I know? It looks like they're running the spread right now, throwing the ball around the yard and opening it up, and boy, are they clicking right now. They look like they've been passing all year.
Pump fake. Bell is going down. He's sacked. What a play by Matthew Robinson to bring him down. 3rd sack of the season for Robinson.
When sometimes as a defender, you just get upset, you get furious down there and say, no more. Robinson made the sack, getting into the backfield, and you need someone to step up, and Robinson there was the man for South Point's defense.
A loss of 8, and now Rocky Mount behind the chains. Under 6 to go. We're halfway through this 4th quarter. Play clock at 5. At 4, they send a man in motion. They just get it off. It's a handoff to Bynum, who's shedding a couple tackles and picks up about 4 or 5 yards there and makes it more of a manageable 3rd down, Jay, but they'll still be a few yards behind the chains.
What feet, what shiftiness Bynum has there. We've talked about his powerful runs and his strong legs, but they're twisting and turning, going sideways, and he always falls forward. And here now, again, after that run play created by the sack of Robinson, Rocky Mount's going to regroup over at the sideline.
First timeout called of this 2nd half by either team. as Rocky Mount takes the timeout, Jay, ahead of the most crucial third down of their season.
Well, third down here, but you figure they're going to go for it if they don't pick it up. 2 downs, 5:11 on the clock. This is kind of 4-down territory for them. So when you're a coach over there, you've got to kind of plan for it. You need 14 yards, so 2 plays to get 14 yards. You don't have to get it all here through the air, but you kind of can chip away at it.
Let's go back down to the field. Erin has more on the momentum and the emotion on that sideline. Erin?
Obviously, the Rocky Mount team really wants to get in the end zone here as time is ticking off, and you could see the emotion on the field come out when they took that sack. A couple of the players kind of started arguing with each other and kind of pushing each other back and forth as they're trying to hold each other accountable for their plays, and obviously didn't want to take that sack at that point.
Erin, thanks a lot. Jay, emotions running high in a game like this. You've played football for a number of years. You know what it's all about inside those huddles.
Yeah, when you're down on the sideline, you're a different man now. You may be calm off the field, but when you're down there, you're fiery, you're intense. And you know, with this type of ball game, what's at stake? Your emotions sometimes get the best of you. You're sometimes out there yelling and screaming and employing your teammates because you know how important this is for your team, and each and every play is such a huge part of this ball game. You don't know which one's going to change the course of the game, and for Rocky Mount there, that's just the emotion and the leadership down the sideline, wanting what's best for their team.
3rd down and 14 for the Gryphons. A lot of time chewed on this clock, or on this drive. Bell down the field, caught again. It's Richardson, who I believe makes the catch. He'll be a little bit shy of the marker. And for Richardson, that's his first catch of the night, his 16th of the season, and I think it's definitely go time here on 4th and a couple of yards.
Yeah, they're going to go for it here, but again, with the clock, they need to pick up the tempo a little bit, but a good job chipping away at it, making it much more easy to pick it up here on 4th and short.
4th down and 3, and whistles halt the action, and a timeout on the field. Let's see who called it. I believe it was South Point. We'll wait and be sure. Yeah. It was South Point. That's their first timeout as our official set of the half. So if you're South Point, you want to gear yourself up for what could be the final defensive stand of this football game.
Yeah, I mean, this could be the last time Rocky Mount has the ball potentially. So if you're South Point, what do you need to do during this timeout? What do you need to do to focus on this play? First of all, you need to talk about the running options. You've got to stop Bynum up the middle. It's only 3 yards, so you've got to figure that Rocky Mount, there's a good chance they're going to give the ball to Bynum on a quick hit. But also, too, we've seen them use the pass as well, so it's an option for the play-action pass. But first off, you've got to stop the run. You can't worry about the pass right now. You've got to hope your coverage in the secondary can hold up if it is a passing play.
Well, you think about Sanders in this situation too, Jay, but he's got 6 carries tonight for just 6 yards. He's not been very effective. He did have that big kickoff return to start the game, though. A lot of options for Rocky Mount. We'll see how South Point plays it defensively. 4th down and 3. Bell will pass, pressured, still on his feet, and he's going down. Ball comes loose, flags are down as well. This could be a face mask on South Point and would keep the drive alive. And if it is the 3rd penalty of the night on the Red Raiders, what an inopportune time.
Well, Rocky Mount looks like they're happy. They're clapping down there, and boy, what a change of events. Getting the pressure up the middle. Great job flying in there.
As Nathan Hamilton had missed him the first time. And
it's
then
going to be a face mask,
yeah.
Chris. It's going to
Philip Davis, Jay.
be a first down, yeah.
Yeah, Philip Davis had the personal foul face mask. Davis, the 6'1 sophomore. A lot of playing time in this, his 10th grade season, will set Rocky Mount up first down. I believe it should be a first down. Here's our referee.
Got personal foul, face mask, defense. We go half the distance to the end of the run, still playing 4th down.
You say it's still 4th down? I believe it is, yeah.
That's what they said, yeah.
One more look at the face mask.
Well, just a mistake by South Point here. You cannot have a face mask. A great job getting the pressure, then bailing out Rocky Mount with the penalty.
And Coach Battle is out past the hashes. He's talking to the officials saying, how is that not an automatic first down? Because it's a personal foul. Face mask, I thought, was always a first down.
I'm as confused as everyone is here. I am not sure what is going on because that should have been a first for sure.
And now they're going to come out and measure if it is a first down or not. So this all could be a moot point as the chains are stretched, and it'll be short. 4th and a couple inches. Quarterback sneak here.
This is the perfect time. If there was ever a time to do a quarterback sneak, this would be it. But you never know with Rocky Mount. They may throw it.
We thought they were going to run on 4th.
We thought they were going to. They've been changing it up all night.
Gryphons are 2 of 4 on 4th down tonight, and Coach Battle taking a lot of time to huddle with his team. A 14-play drive thus far that's covered 74 yards. They've chewed nearly 6 minutes off this 4th quarter clock and are 2 inches away from keeping the drive alive. Clock rolling inside of 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And now our officials come in and stop the clock. With 4:07 left, and now they want to talk about it. And now Coach Battle is still arguing with the officials. These guys will not be getting a holiday card from him this year.
They shouldn't expect one in the mail, no.
4th and a couple inches. Season on the line. And a first down for the Gryphons. Bynum got the call and moves the chains.
Well, of course, we talked about the quarterback sneak, but looked like South Point was pretty prepared for it with 5 guys right over the A gap there, giving the ball to Bynum, helped out. There wasn't as many defenders on the outside, so he was able to twist his way into the first.
Will not be 1st and goal. They can achieve a first down at the 1. Back to the ground in Bynum for 2 yards. 19 carries for Bynum tonight. Hall in on the stop. And it's 2nd down and 8. And there's an injured South Point player down on the field as well. So a timeout will stop the momentum as South Point, looks like it's Philip Davis who might be down. It is. Davis was the culpable party on the face mask a moment ago.
Yeah, and that face mask, still a little confused by the referee's decision there on the ball placement, but at this time of the game, it's tough seeing somebody get injured because both teams playing so hard, and for Rocky Mount here, impressively moving the ball on offense.
Go inside that Rocky Mount huddle, 3:25 left. You're 2nd down and 8 from the 9-yard line. Need a touchdown. What's the conversation like in that huddle?
Well, the biggest thing if I was Coach Battle is they've done a great job all night, but protect the football. Hold on to it because South Point's going to try to create a turnover and strip the ball. So first of all, hold on to the ball. Second of all, there's no really reason to rush right here. 3:26 left on the clock. You want to score a touchdown, but you don't want to leave South Point a lot of time as well. So for them, I would continue to run the ball and just tell your guys, hey, listen, make sure you don't jump off sides. Let's protect the football if you're Forrest Bell throwing the ball, because right now what can hurt you? It's a penalty or a turnover.
A lot of weapons as well for Rocky Mount. Great look at the Gryphon students who have made the trek from Rocky Mount, what, about 90 minutes or so from the eastern part of our state. For South Point, the trek a little further, probably a couple, almost 3 hours. South Point had a pep rally at 9 o'clock this morning and then had team buses leave right around 2 o'clock to get here to Chapel Hill in plenty of time. 2nd and 8, clock continues to move.
Well, both fan bases up on their feet, Chris. It's down to crunch time here in the 4th quarter.
Bell will keep it to the outside, and it'll be a little short, I believe. We'll bring up 3rd down as Bell keeps it. And for Bell, that's his 7th carry of the night. Gains 5. And he has 33 yards rushing unofficially tonight. That's more tonight than he's had all season combined.
There's so many MVPs for Rocky Mount tonight's ball game. Bell, Bynum, these guys stepping up. And you wonder if Coach Battle saw something on film this week where he thought he could take advantage of Bell's running ability and his throwing ability as well.
3rd and 3. They give it to Bynum up the middle. And the Gryphons are a point away from tying it up. Bynum in for the 2nd time tonight. And a late flag flies in as well. This could be a long extra point.
Wow, and Chris, we talked about that touchdown dance earlier. We're kidding about it, but that's going to come into play here. That penalty was on the dance, and Bynum again getting into the end zone, but the referees calling the penalty right now, and what a huge harm this is going to cause here for the extra point.
Here's our lead referee, Roger Latley, with the call.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, on the offense. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the extra point try.
So I think it's on Rocky Mount. He just misspoke.
Wow.
Everybody just took a breath for a moment thinking that's on the defense.
No, and Chris, I'll tell you what, you can say what you want about the dance. They called it the 2nd time. They didn't call it the 1st time. But as well for Rocky Mount, you can't put that in the officials' hands right there, because that's going to make this extra point a much tougher opportunity here for the Gryphons.
This is a 35-yard extra point attempt. The long this year for Miller and field goals have been 28 for the tie. It is good. Bynum in to make it a 1-point game. And then Miller with the extra point. And there had to be.
It was the dance after.
Yeah.
It was the dance. They did the same dance that they did earlier. Now, again, I don't know if you throw the flag there, but the referees did, and you can't leave that up to the officials' decision.
And you don't know if the officials had said when they did it the first time, hey, don't do it again, or whatever the case might be. Either way, it's a moot point now as Miller drills the extra point, and it's a tie game.
Well, he bailed out. He bailed out those guys with the penalty right there. He's the most popular guy down on the sideline.
An 18-play drive for Rocky Mount. 89 yards, and they took 7:23 off the clock.
What a drive, what a comeback. The heart of a champion by the Gryphons, standing up there with adversity striking down them. It looked like it was going to be a 4th down and out, but they got the face mask penalty. They went in for the TD.
Tinker is the deep man. If you're South Point, you would love a good return here. King is also now back deep. So they put all the athletes on the field as we were ready to go, and Miller said, no, I don't like the way that ball was placed. Now he's ready. We'll see if he's got a little extra adrenaline. He better hurry. The play clock's at 10 seconds, and there's a flag. And our official coming in and saying, hey, once the ball's spotted, you can't move.
Yeah, and Coach Battle can't be happy with his team right now. 2 penalties in a row. The last one not hurting him, but here, this is going to change the field position a little bit. 4th
penalty on Rocky Mount. That's a procedure penalty. You can't move it once it's been placed. Yes, 1 time it's okay. 2 times, what's that old saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah.
Now the official saying, are you sure? Are you? Well, King is now the deep man. Tinker is also back deep. He's on the side nearest to us. This could aid South Point and possibly a return. And a flag. And it looks like it's offside. The team that calls this stadium home would have loved to have that call about a week ago.
Yeah, and that was something that was a point of conversation in the ACC championship game. And here another penalty for Rocky Mount, pushing them back again. the penalty bugs becoming predominant here, and this last couple minutes has lasted longer than most of the game.
It's true. So now Rocky Mount will be kicking off from the 30, which is 10 yards further back than what they're accustomed to. It's been a busy fourth quarter for our officiating crew tonight. Now keep in mind, with King being the deep man, as Coach Battle looking on, King was cramping up on the sideline a little while ago. Erin Summers sending that report up to us, so we'll see if King's wheels are all right during this upcoming drive. 3:06 to decide who will win the 3A state championship, or if we will have overtime.
Yeah, and with King, he's such a tough kid. This is your last drive potentially of the season.
Of your career.
It doesn't matter what pain you're in. You're going to find some way, if possible, be out on the field. And he's a tough guy. He's been getting hit all night on those quarterback runs, but he's playing special teams as well. What a team player.
He's back at the 22 to receive this kick of Miller. Everybody on side, and King will return from the 16. To the middle of the field, still on his feet, out across the 40. And he's down at the 42. Good field position for the Red Raiders. 2:58 and 2 timeouts.
Well, Chris, when you're growing up, you're always in the backyard or wherever you are dreaming of situations like this. 2:58 left on the clock. And King, the senior quarterback, helping out here on special teams, but the ball's going to be placed in his hand with everything in front of him. All their goals for South Point not that far away. And he's got plenty of time on the clock with timeouts. This is something you look forward to, and what an opportunity presents itself for South Point here with the ball in their hands.
Only one passing attempt tonight. Some confusion in the backfield as King runs into Etherton, and he's going to be sacked. Big number 90, Cedric Shepard, the 6'2 senior, with a huge play on defense.
Well, Shepard just crushing all the dreams of the Red Raiders. As a defender in this type of situation, if you can get a big play on first down, create problems in the backfield, it makes it a lot tougher. You get some of that momentum. You play a little bit faster on defense when you get a big play. It's contagious over there. So Richardson doing a good job with the sack.
Loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Play clock at 10. Etherton straight ahead and gets 4, so got the sack yards back. Clock now dwindling to 2:11 and moving. And at this point, if you're South Point, 3 of 6 on 3rd down, do you maybe just play for overtime here?
Well, you definitely have to be careful. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily play for overtime, play conservatively, but if you don't get it here, you can't go for a 4th because you're going to give Rocky Mount great field position. So I'd continue to look for something with King getting to the outside, whether that's the option or also throwing the ball, but look for them to get outside.
100 seconds left. King will throw. Flipping it downfield. It's caught. And a first down. Nathan Silver with his 4th catch of the season. None bigger than that one.
Well, there, like I talked about, getting to the outside, the sprint option play out there where we could run or throw it. And they're throwing a strike and getting the first down. Great execution.
First down from across the 50. King will keep it to the outside and brought down at the 37. He'll be about a yard short after a 9-yard gain.
Well, Chris, here in this situation, what's going to hurt you the most if you're Rocky Mount? It's going to be the outside running with King. You've got to seal off the edges and play better and contain.
They pitch it. Wilson picks it up, and he's still going to be short. Rocky Mount nearly created a turnover there.
Yeah, and for Rocky Mount, you can't let him or anybody, Wilson, can get outside of you and get on the perimeter, and there they bottom him up there, and South Point was lucky it wasn't a turnover.
Let's take another look as there's a timeout on the field. A late pitch there. I don't think it was intended for King. It was South Point, Jay, who called the timeout. They now have 1 remaining. 48 seconds left, and you're facing a 3rd down and 1.
Got a timeout still time with that timeout, and plus the ability to get out of bounds to move the ball down the field into the end zone or get in field goal range. But none of that matters if you can't pick it up here. Then also on 4th down, you may have an opportunity. So look for them to try to, again, get King on the outside. You've got to have confidence with Etherton up the middle, but you got to know Rocky Mount's going to try to stuff the interior.
If you're curious about the field goal range for Thomas Lemperer, he's hit 3 field goals this year. His long has been 36 2 times, hit from 32 in the regional final a week ago. But still need to get it another 6 or 7 yards to be on the fringe of that range. 3rd and 1. Etherton has the first down to the 34. It's about, what, a 50, 51-yard field goal from here?
Yeah, and that's a little bit out of his range, but if you can get another first down here, you're going to have a shot at it.
King on the keeper. Gets about 7. Maybe about 5 or 6, actually. Gains 5. The 21st rush tonight and nearing 100 yards.
And South Point not using their timeout, just looking to get to the line quickly here and run another play.
King looking to scramble through 2 tacklers and going down. Ball came loose. But they're going to call him down. And South Point screaming for a timeout, and they finally get it with 2 seconds left. Looks like to me that the Red Raiders were calling timeout with 6 or 7 seconds left, but now they have time for either a heave to the end zone or a field goal.
That's the 3rd and final timeout of the half.
Well, just scrambling on the outside. King looking to make his play, but Rocky Mount did a pretty good job of keeping him inside, not letting him get to the outside where he could be dangerous. And it looks like here Coach Lonberger is going to send out a special teams unit. Chris, this is the game. 2 seconds left.
Yeah, well, they added 2 seconds to put 4 seconds on the clock, and they are going to send out the field goal unit. Now the ball is on the 27. About a 44-yard field goal try. You're in the backyard, you're a kicker. 1 shot to win a state title.
Everybody's over on the sideline getting together because this is your opportunity, and for Rocky Mount, you've got to do whatever you can to get pressure up the middle, get your hands up, and look for Coach Battle here to possibly call a timeout to try to ice the kicker.
Wind maybe helping just a smidge. And a prophet you are, Jay Sonnhalter. Timeout, Rocky Mount. They have 1 remaining.
Well, I don't know if I'm a prophet. I just saw Coach Battle about 2 inches from the referee's ear leaning towards him, so I figured that it was probably going to be a timeout.
When someone gives you a compliment, just go with it.
Well, I appreciate it. I will say, that will be my new nickname from you, Chris. Thank you very much.
Lemperer is still out there. Coach Battle talking to the official, wanting to get some final instructions. Some smiles, but you can tell there's a lot of nerves behind those smiles as well in the stands tonight at Kenan Stadium. 44-yard try by Lemperer. If he makes it, South Point wins the state title. If he misses, we'll play overtime.
Well, if you're Lemperer right now, you just gotta kind of try to keep it light and be easy with it. Stay calm right now. And if you're Coach Lineberg, go over and talk to your kicker. Tell him a little joke. When I was playing, my coaches, whenever we got in a critical situation, they'd always tell their funniest joke. Whether it's funny or not, they'd say it to the kicker to try to loosen him up. And Lemperer's going to have the opportunity here to be a hero and get a state championship for his team.
Ball is in the middle of the field. .44 yards. Snap. Spot. Kick. Is no good. He missed it wide to the right. Had the leg, couldn't quite get it in there. Overtime is next on Time Warner Cable Sportschannel. For the first time since 2006, the 3A championship game will go to overtime. That year, Concord beat Western Alamance 35-28. Tonight, someone will go home a state champion. The other will have a tough pill to swallow heading into the offseason.
Well, both teams, excellent play, Chris, playing their heart out, so evenly matched. Very few opportunities for one team to take a bigger lead because they come back and match each other's score. Ended up here in an overtime, a great finish there, but now both teams are going to get the ball in overtime.
Let's head down to the field. Erin Summers has something for us. Erin?
Chris, Coach Lineberger hasn't said a lot throughout the game, but here at the end of regulation, he turned around to his team and he pointed at every single one of them and said, hey, guys, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. And he repeated it and continued to point down the line to his players right here before he's about to go and take the coin toss for the overtime.
Erin, thanks a lot. Emotion running high as we will have overtime looming. And if you're curious about overtime rules in high school football, very similar to what you see on a Saturday in college football, except they start from the 10. 4 chances to score. Each team will get 1 possession. There's Jason Battle, the Rocky Mount head coach, as this team has battled their way to a 21-all tie into overtime.
Yeah, here in the overtime period, this is why you practice those situations so your team's comfortable if a situation ever arises throughout the year and here in the state championship. It's coming up here tonight for both teams going into the overtime period.
Roger Lantney is our referee and will handle the overtime coin toss.
Both teams opportunity to possess the football in the overtime. 1 timeout apiece. Depending on who wins the toss, they have the 3 options. They can go on offense, defense, or pick a side of the field where they want to play on. Rocky Mount, you're the visiting team. The football is heads. The right is tails. I'm going to flip it. If I drop it, I'll re-flip it. Go ahead and declare your call. Okay, it's the tails. You want to toss. You want to go on defense first.
So Rocky Mount, as you heard, won the toss. And a smart play, they want to go on defense, Jay.
They go on defense, then know what you have to do once you get the ball.
Good luck to you.
This has been fun.
Hey, what a ball game. What a ball game. Both these teams kept us on the edge of our seats all night. I have a feeling it's going to be great overtime, Chris.
So, what's the conversation like in these huddles? We'll start with South Point. Had a chance to win it there at the end of regulation.
Well, South Point here, you've got to figure that Bynum's going to get the football. You've got to stop the run. Even though Rocky Mount has had success through the year, the ball is going to be on the 10-yard line. So if you can stop Bynum, force Rocky Mount to throw the ball, hopefully you can get a stop from your secondary. If you're Rocky Mount, you've got to have a little bit of a lift there. There's a field goal opportunity. You're able to get into overtime after that. So, you know, again, it's all about who can execute here.
It'll be interesting to see what Rocky Mount does defensively. We saw South Point having some success, especially on their last drive, running it to the outside.
Yeah, and running to the outside with King is really the best recipe for them. Getting him where he has room to operate in the open field.
South Point has never lost a state championship appearance. They've won titles in '79, 2003, and 2009. Their last 2 championship wins came here at Kenan Stadium. Hoping that the 3rd time is a charm, the Red Raiders start off the 10-yard line in overtime. Each team has 1 timeout during the overtime period, as King will keep it and get a yard. It's the 23rd carry of the night for King.
He doesn't look like he's slowed down at all. He's also returned kicks on special teams. And he's involved in every play, whether he's getting the ball or running the triple option. So those 23 carries aren't really a true testament of how much he has the ball and how active he's been tonight.
2nd and goal from the 9. Play clock at 10. King maybe audibling at the line. King will keep it, and he's brought down after a gain of just a couple of yards. It's 3rd and goal.
Yeah, now in this situation, 3rd down, if you don't get it, do you go for the field goal or do you try to go for the touchdown knowing that Rocky Mount's going to get get it at the 10. That's where the chess match comes in, and that's why it's important for Rocky Mount to win that kick and play defense first.
You got to get points, though, right?
Yeah, in this situation, you get the touchdown, but if you don't, you've got to kick the field goal and just get points on the board. Hope your defense can stand.
King with real estate. King hit it to 2, and he's stopped. Big play, Sharon Green, who we have not talked about hardly at all tonight. The team's leading tackler, Jay, offers from Charlotte, East Carolina, UNC, NC State, Old Dominion, and Virginia Tech, making a huge play, one of his first hits tonight.
Well, the leader stepping up when his team needed him most, and look at him here, flow to the football, getting to the outside, and look at that speed, making the big hit on King.
Green 11 tackles a week ago, sprained his ankle in the regional final, but was good to go for tonight, has played the majority of the game. South Point will go for the field goal. 22-yarder for the lead. Low snap, but the kick is no good. Gryphons now need just a field goal to win the state title.
Well, they're celebrating over there, feeling good with where they're at, but still, they need to execute here and put points on the board. If you're South Point, the special teams plays didn't go your way the past 2 times. Pressure by the defenders on Rocky Mount. May Lemper kick it a little bit too early and hook it wide to the left.
Low snap did not help either. But now if you're Rocky Mount, do you just try and get it close and kick the field goal, or do you try and punch it in?
I'll tell you this, I want to score a touchdown, but I also want to run it. I don't want to put it in harm's way through the air. I want to keep the ball on the ground with your best player, Bynum.
Defense, the cry from the South Point fans. Each side standing. Play clock at 3. It's Bynum bouncing it outside and tripped up at the 5. Gains 5, 2nd and goal.
Well, no matter what the situation looks like for South, they've got to try to get a turnover here and try to make a stop. And, you know, you look back at the Super Bowl with the Patriots, It didn't look good for them. They stepped up and made a play, and South Point here still with an opportunity with their ferocious defense to try to get a couple stops here.
2nd and goal from the 5. It's Forbes who gets the call and gets just a couple of, maybe just a yard down to the 4-yard line, but he does center the football just in case. Miller may need to be needed for a field goal, and there is a flag also on the field, so let's hold on for just a second. This is a foul on Rocky Mount, would be huge, and would certainly hurt the Gryphons' chances to try and punch in the game-winning score. We'll take a look at the replay and see if we can dissect what the foul might be.
And Chris, it looked like the penalty came in late and maybe a unsportsmanlike call or something after the play was over.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike on the defense. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike on the offense. No penalty, offset. 3rd down.
So basically, much to do about nothing, a little chippiness after the play, which is what you might expect in a game that has now taken more than 48 minutes to complete.
Yeah, it looked like they kind of got tripped up there. Somebody fell over and someone wrapped around the leg there. So that's where the penalty came from, but all for nothing here. It's going to be 3rd down.
And South Point will use their allotted timeout of this overtime period. Each team gets the one timeout, Jay. South Point has used that one timeout. And they'll have it 3rd and goal, Rocky Mount will, from about 3.
And right here, Coach Lineberger talking to his team, again, telling them they have to stop the run and to focus on Bynum. He's the key with this offense for Rocky Mount. Where he goes, he's either going to be a fake to him or he's going to get the ball. So, again, the secondary players have to come up and run defense and help out that D-line of the linebacking core make the tackle.
Do you, if you're Rocky Mount, do you maybe run the field goal unit on now on third down just in case there's a botched snap or something?
Well, I think if you're Rocky Mount, your bread and butter is your ground game, and you've got to have confidence that you can punch it in here. And I wouldn't want to let it be up to special teams whether you win or South Point gets another opportunity. So it looks like they are going to bring out their field goal kicking unit here, though, Chris.
This is Chase Miller. His long this year has been 28. This is from 20, and to give the Gryphons a state title. Bell, the quarterback, is the holder. And running over that time, the center was one of the South Point players, tried to time the snap. That'll be a penalty on the Red Raiders. And looks like it's Nick Muse who is the guilty party. Watch this replay.
Well, Muse did a Troy Polamalu there. The only difference was the ball wasn't snapped. So, is that going to change the play call here, Chris?
Penalty's half the distance.
And no, it's not. They're going to go for it.
All right, here we go. Miller for the win. Kick is good! For the first time in over 50 years, Rocky Mount champions of 3A.
Chris, nothing better than seeing a celebration on the field and Coach Battle getting the Gatorade bath. And the execution here and sending the Gryphons home with a state championship trophy.
Rocky Mount wins it 24-21 in overtime. We'll be back after this. Rocky Mount wins at 24-21. Erin's got the victorious head coach.
Chris, I'm here with the state champion head coach, Jason Battle. How does it feel to be called a state champion?
Better than called Darius Robinson. It's all right. Nah, it feels great. I think it does a lot for our kids, our community. We worked hard this year. Nobody expected us to be here, so it means a lot to us.
What did it take to come back in the second half and go into overtime for the victory?
Well, I mean, this year, that's just been the mark of our kids. Play well in the first half, but really step it up and do a lot more in the second half. And they fought their hearts out. So did South Point.
What is it about this team all season long that's gotten you to this point?
Confidence, and just being committed to what we're doing. They showed up day in and day out and just continued to work, and nobody couldn't tell them they weren't going to be here.
It's going to be a good ride home?
Yeah, a long ride home, I'm sure. But a great ride, though. Thank you. It's been a great ride all the way through.
Thanks, Coach.
Erin, thanks a lot. It was a game, Jay, that was 7-7 at the break, took overtime, but eventually the Gryphons capture their first state championship since 1963.
Yeah, and Coach Battle talked about evenly matched game where both teams played their heart out, but it's Rocky Mount making the play when they needed it most there, the field goal in overtime to bring home the victory.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this contest, and I had an epic one in the 3A ranks. Began on the very first kickoff of the game when B.J. Sanders, 81 yards for pay dirt.
Well, it started off with fireworks with Sanders taking it the distance, and we started off quick, the first play of the game, and Sanders showed off his speed with the impressive return.
And then the touchdown by Etherton to get his team on the board and tie it up at 7.
Yeah, Etherton picked up 4 yards every single carry tonight. Great game by him, but it was just a little bit too much of the ground attack by the Gryphons. Getting in for the end zone was Bynum there.
Yeah, one of his 2 rushing scorers tonight. Bynum, the team's leading rusher, 83 yards. There's Etherton, who finished with right at 100 yards rushing. And then the game winner, the field goal there at the end by Miller.
Yeah, and Miller sealed the victory, and nothing better than seeing a team celebrate. And I hate to see somebody lose, but Rocky Mount being victorious, and they deserved it with their ability to come up with the clutch plays.
All right, as Rocky Mount wins it, let's take a look at some of the closing numbers tonight on this 3A state championship game between two very evenly matched teams. Got the money's worth tonight. Rushing yards, pretty even on both sides, although you could say that South Point dominated the rushing department, I guess.
Yeah, and Chris, look at that. 0 turnovers. Both teams played a clean ball game. Total yards, Rocky Mount had that edge. But again, it all came down to penalties, turnovers, third downs. Who made the plays? Rocky Mount made it when they needed it most.
And Rocky Mount with 210 yards passing, the most they've had all season long. That was the difference in this contest tonight. Rocky Mount wins it 24-21 overtime. Your final thoughts?
Well, both teams, it's hard to see someone lose this game, but they both have a lot to be proud of, and it's going to be a tough ride home for South Point, but they can be proud and learn from their effort tonight going into next year and hold their heads high. And for Rocky Mount, capping off an excellent season, no better way than to do it into overtime, finishing, running off the field with your kicker, sending it through the uprights, and what a fun feeling being a senior, going off with ending your career with a state championship.
Enjoyed it, partner. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, buddy.
For Jay Sonnhalter, Erin Summers, our great stat man, Evan Butterovich, and the rest of our terrific Time Warner Cable Sports Channel crew, this is Chris Edwards from Kenan Stadium, where South Point falls to Rocky Mount 24-21 in the 3A state championship game. Good night from Chapel Hill.